It's Mark Ling here, and I've got with me a really special guest. His name is Mike Long, and Mike is an absolute expert at a number of things when it comes to marketing online. In particular, he's really, really good at driving traffic and free traffic to websites. I've worked with him outside of teaching people how to make money in terms of other niches, like in the dating niche, for instance. We both happen to have products in the dating niche, and he's promoted me before and made hundreds of sales. And I know firsthand what he's capable of. I've seen what he's done with several of his students, and we've met in person as well, and have spent a lot of time discussing marketing strategies. He's been around for years. He's actually been in charge of several multi-million-dollar launches as well. And but in particular, when it comes to this particular training that we're conducting today, Mike is going to be teaching you something that he has taught a large number of students how to do, which is how to make a lot of money as a local marketing consultant. Now, some of you, this is going to be the perfect career path for you, and that's going to be awesome. And for others, you're going to think, well, you know what, I want to make money while I sleep as an affiliate, but in the meantime, I'll make myself, thousands of dollars as a local marketing consultant. I'll do websites for people, I'll set up Facebook pages, I'll do this, I'll do that. Get people high search engine rankings. All of this stuff's going to be taught by Mike on this particular webinar. So stay tuned, and without further ado, here's Mike.
Hey, Mark. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I love working with you. I think that anybody who's involved with a fellow Jetpacks made a very smart move working with Mark. Mark's a legend, and it's awesome to work with you.
Thanks.
I got started with. I agree with you. This local client consulting is a weirdly good way to make money online. And typically we found that if you really cherry pick this, if you really go for the low-hanging fruits when it comes to this, you'd be surprised at how much money you can make. I actually call this technique day job killing because we've had so many people just in the last few months since I started letting the cat out of the bag on this have so much success. So what I want to do is I'll quickly introduce, I actually stumbled upon this concept. I'm going to share my screen here, which shortly it'll look a little bit weird with the whole tiling, but let me know if you can see my screen pretty well there at this point.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, what I want to do is to introduce this, I'll tell you how I stumbled upon this, and then I'll show you how, I'm going to show you a number of ways that you can do this technique. This is going to be all content. You'll get, I believe, quite a bit out of this. So this fellow right here is Hugh Pinero. And I pulled out when Mark came up with the idea for us to do this event just about a day ago. So I had about a day to prepare things, and I was thinking things through. And this is really how I got started. It was by total chance. I was in Vegas. Vegas is the first place that Mark and I met in person recently. But this is years back. This is all the way back. You can see this is 1/11/2006. And what happened was I was in Vegas for an internet marketing event with just a mastermind event. And Yannick had convinced me to fly.
So this was several years ago. Gotcha.
Yeah, this is years and years ago. This just to let you know that this really works. And what I'll show inside of this was really eye-opening to me. And there's a huge lesson in this, a very specific lesson that you can use even today. So Yannick convinced me to fly first class, which I never do. And then he bailed on me. Like on the way back, he went home early because his wife was about to have a baby, and so he bailed. So they sold his seat to Hugh Pinero, who was the founding CEO of XM Satellite Radio, and this is shortly before XM merged with Sirius. And I wound up talking to Hugh the entire time, the entire flight, and he actually sent me this letter back. It's kind of funny, you can see this in quotes. Somebody, one of his colleagues who is sitting in first class as well said, "I can't believe you talked to that guy for over 4 hours and only stopped when one of the two of you went to the bathroom." He was really impressed with our conversation, and he invited me to come in to XM Radio. He was the person, Mark, who brought up the idea of me doing consulting for him. I had no inclination whatsoever to do local client consulting, and again, the thought had never occurred to me. And he was really trying to talk me into it. So I went into XM Radio. It was just a couple days later, and it was funny because he put me right in the middle of a marketing meeting. And I'm like you, Mark. I'm just an underground guy, just makes money from home, or maybe you have an office or something like that. But regardless, we're just underground guys, and I'm not I don't have a suit or anything like that, or at least I didn't at the time. And I found myself in the middle of this big marketing meeting with their marketing vice president. And I think that the marketing vice president felt a little threatened by me being there, and I don't really know why or what happened behind the scenes. Obviously, you can see by this letter, he was really excited to meet me. But anyway, the marketing guy, what he said to me, the vice president, he was like, I know you internet guys can make money, a lot of money on a small scale with a small number of customers. But what you have to understand is that we're dealing with a lot of clients here. We're dealing on a big scale, on a scale that you're really not used to. And it was funny. I felt kind of convinced when he said it. I felt like he must be right. That I must be out of my league or whatever was going on. And it was funny because Hugh kind of reminded me, because what I had done that really convinced him was I made a video before that meeting. After I got this letter from Hugh, I made a video, or actually right before, I sent him a video because he had given me his email address. And all I did was the same thing that you might do today, which is I opened up the Google keyword tool, and I just showed him, for example, and this is something that'll hit home for you, Mark, because I know that your original start was in celebrity websites and so forth. I showed him that, for example, at the time, that Kelly Clarkson, the singer from American Idol, that exact match, she was getting 700,000 exact match searches per month. And I showed him other various music stars of the time, 50 Cent and so forth, and likewise they were getting 200,000, 500,000, even 1 million searches per month. Yeah. And it really blew the idea out of the water that we weren't dealing with large scales there. And I wound up doing some consulting for him. It was quite lucrative, around $10,000 for a very short, small amount of work for him. And it's actually, Frank Kern actually wound up telling me several months ago, maybe a year or two ago, that he started doing a local consulting based on that because of my conversation with Hugh. So I just wanted to give that as an introduction, because this wasn't something that I had really thought of. But what I want to get into is a number of ways, because of course you might say to yourself, well, that's great, if I wind up in first class sitting next to the CEO of XM Satellite Radio. But how do I land these consulting deals, and what are these consulting deals for? What are we going to do? And there's a number of things that we can do. We can do SEO for people. We can do pay-per-click for people. We can set up their Facebook pages, Twitter pages, Google Plus accounts. We can set up Google. Go ahead, Mark.
And by we, Mike, by the way, is meaning you, as in if that's something that you, the viewer, is watching, is interested in, you can do. You can provide any of these services. Even if you think you're not an expert in them right now, a lot of these services are stuff that you're going to find actually very straightforward and in no time at all if you take an interest in it.
Absolutely. It's so funny because, especially because you're joining forces here with Mark and because I'm here as well, you're privy to a really advanced skill set that even your larger national firms in SEO and in online marketing, they don't really have access to the kind of know-how and training that you're getting with Mark and with Simon. You're not going to find that normally, or that you get with me or with my partner Greg. It's just not typically out there. Most of my viewers don't even know who Simon is. But sorry about that.
No, that's all good. Simon's my business partner when it comes to anything to do with the make money type stuff. Not my niches that I'm in, but when it comes to like Affiliarama, Traffic Travis, Sale Who, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's quite brilliant.
Just for people that are wondering.
Yeah,
and he is. Yeah, he's the brains behind it all.
Yeah, he's really brilliant. Of course, you are too. So what I want to do is I've got 14 techniques lined up here for you, and we're going to go rapid fire through these. And I'm not just going to show you ideas here. These are all real world examples. Each one of these folders here that I've got laid out for you is a real world example, something that I've got a client right now making at least 5 figures a month minimum. Okay, so I'm not going to waste your time with anything that doesn't make money right now.
So basically, just to quickly outline it though, you're going to be covering several different ways that people can make money as a consultant, and also you'll take some questions from me at the end, because I'm probably going to ask you questions about, say, how to go about billing out your clients, what sort of contracts do you normally draw up, and those sort of standard things that people might be. How do you pitch it to a client? to actually get clients in the first place. I'll probably grill you for a bunch of stuff as well.
I would love that. Yeah.
Whatever we can fit into the time frame, really.
Absolutely. So
cool.
Just to begin with, so it doesn't get confusing or on your mind, let's talk really quickly about some of the things that you can sell. And these can even be things that you currently today, at this moment, have no idea of how to do. In a very short period of time, even within hours, you can be surprisingly advanced at these things. So there's SEO, which is ranking sites #1 on Google, and this is my favorite. But there's a ton more. Let me just make this kind of appropriately sized. There's SEO. There's pay-per-clicks, which is paid traffic on Google. There's site design, website design. And it's surprisingly easy to make their site look really terrific. There is Facebook. You can set up a Facebook page /fan page for them. Google Plus and Google Authorship. People love this. Google Plus, Google Authorship, Google Places. Gets them in the local listings and maps, of course. There is Twitter. And you might say to yourself, well, who would need that? It's so simple. But the majority of business owners do not know how to set up a Facebook fan page. They just don't. They have no idea. There is list building. When I first started, my background, actually, my very first business was a game store. And the only way that my game store stayed afloat was that I did list building for my game store. And it really just made a huge difference. So you can do.
It's massive. A friend of mine actually started doing local business consulting, and there was one of the gymnasiums here in Christchurch. It makes about $10,000 a week in revenue. Okay,
wow.
So it's doing well. Okay,
yeah.
Or maybe it was doing 5,000. Sorry, it was doing 5,000, and now it's doing 10,000, and it doubled its revenue because of the list building, simply because of the fact that they started capturing emails, following up with them, and running monthly specials to get members in.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And
that's also what Brad Howard did.
Made a big difference.
That was Brad Howard's background. That's how he got started. Now he's a 8-figure internet marketer, but he would do list building for local gyms and stuff like that. So exactly, it's a very real thing. So there's list building. There's also marketing consulting. Where you can help them understand what to do, like what different things that they can do with their business, consulting and coaching, and those are a few of the best ones. We'll probably think of a couple more as this event goes on, but kind of make a mental note of these. There's so many. Yeah, I know there's more, like setting up videos for YouTube. Oh goodness,
the list goes on.
Well, YouTube is one of the biggest. I was actually sort of mentally including it up here with SEO, but
and then there's paid traffic outside of Google. I mean, there's probably other things depending on the type of business.
Yeah, there's paid traffic outside of Google, and actually even offline traffic. You can even potentially do.
And you don't have to do everything either. I mean, I know some people that only provide any one of those services there, just one, and it can be enough to run a whole business.
Yeah,
you might even do apps, like building little.
Absolutely, apps are a really big one.
What is?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'll let you carry on.
And if you don't know what to do, the ones that I would definitely do no matter what, if you're not sure, I would do SEO, I would do YouTube, and I would do website design. Those are my 3 favorite ones. So I've kind of highlighted them for you and bolded them for you. And that's just my recommendation. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see the real issue, Mark, and I know you realize this. The real issue is client acquisition, because this is the biggest market in the world. This is why I call this day job killing, because there's so many big juicy markets. You and I are both in relationship advice. You and I are both getting into the health market. Obviously, there's the make money and investing market. My affiliates did $1.2 million worth of gold sales last month. Yeah, there's a lot of big markets out here, but the very biggest in the world, in my opinion, is local client consulting, because that opens you up to a huge base of customers. Every current business and every aspiring business person in the world becomes your potential client, and it is the wealthiest market in the world. Those are the people, their ad budgets collectively add up to much more than any smaller market than say the weight loss market or something like that. And that, again, that's just my opinion, but this is the number one way that I've had people very quickly quit their day jobs. And you don't have to be locked into local client consulting. In fact, the first technique that I want to talk to you about for client acquisition is actually leveraging your affiliate sites and potentially even your Jetpack site, which of course is really impressive. Jetpack is such an extraordinary, if you have access to a fellow Jetpack. I call this affiliate. It's all connected. Okay, so the idea is leveraging your affiliate sites to sell services to local clients. I have two examples. For each of these, I have at least one example of somebody who's making at least 5 figures per month doing this. So this first one here, I showed you this earlier. This is Jimmy Kelly, and Jimmy wrote into me recently. I think he wrote into me last month, and what he said is that he basically had a business that was spiraling out of control. He joined me and my partner Greg Morrison, and they were a search engine optimization based business. They basically rank for big affiliate terms, and they were in trouble. Their rankings weren't working, and they got with us and started having some success. Actually, a lot of success. They're making like $1,200 a day. He showed me a screen capture here, which is pretty neat. I'll go ahead and show that to you just for fun. But this is just one of his affiliate accounts. So you can see this one. He's making a few $100s a day just on this one alone. But anyways, but one of the things he did once he got inside of our training was he noticed me harping on this day job killer, on this local client consulting. So he started doing it. And at this point, when he sent this message in to me, he was already making, he had 4 clients paying $1,500 a month. He's in Utah, in Sandy, Utah. So he had, I think one was like a massage therapy place. One was, I think, a mold removal place. Anyways, he had 4 different clients, each paying him $1,500 a month, and he was using this exact technique that I'm teaching you right now. And so what he would do is he'd approach a client and he'd say, listen, right now you're advertising with yellowpages.com or something like that for Utah, and what you need to understand is that they're small potatoes. They're a small local firm, and they're literally very weak. I'm actually operating, I so happen to be operating on the national level, and let me show you my website that's getting traffic on the national level. And of course, you could do this with pay-per-click advertising as well. He happened to be showing them their free Google rankings, and that was very convincing. And he signed up $6,000 per month of local clients doing this. Mm-hmm. But the really exciting thing is he just updated me a few days ago, and he actually landed a monster client that's now paying him $10,000 a month that he got through one of his other clients. So one of his other clients was so happy and so excited. So keep that in mind. And I really like starting off with this technique, because anybody who's involved with affiliate marketing, this can allow you to expand the value of your website by so much. You're putting all this blood, sweat, and tears to be able to make money while you sleep, which is wonderful. Well, it turns out, and the first time I made a sale based on this, well, actually, basically, that's what really impressed Hugh Pinero when he met me, was I had all these nationally ranked sites for all these various keywords and so forth. He realized that XM Radio didn't have that, that when you search for Kelly Clarkson, they weren't getting that. And I was like, well, that's, obviously that's ridiculous. And those were in the days when you could also just get like nickel pay-per-clicks on a lot of those search phrases and so forth. So here's another example. And I think that the psychology behind this, by the way, is that this is an update. I actually just got this. I just got this by Skype yesterday from Carlos Diaz. This works anywhere in the world, by the way. Interestingly enough, Carlos is from not Costa Rica. He's from the Dominican Republic. And I think that the psychology behind this is that these business owners, like the mold removal guy, your local lawyer, your local even tree removal guy, they are business people. And so if you show them that you're a business person and not just a vendor, one of the things that I really use, I have a number of sites that are ranked on page 1 for gold. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, so basically you're saying, though, in a nutshell, is that the fact that you happen to have examples that you are a business owner too, that helps you to land the client. So even if you don't have commission examples, you at the very least are able to show some of your websites you've set up, or you're able to show maybe some search engine rankings you've already obtained or something like that. Yeah,
and I don't think that my clients are really showing. I've never shown if I showed my paychecks to people, it would be a little bit disorienting to them because of the kind of scale that you and I work on, Mark.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
I don't think, weirdly enough, I don't think that showing paychecks is a good idea. I think that exactly what you're saying is correct. Showing search results or even paid traffic, even showing that you can get their paid traffic up there, that's impressive to them.
Cool. Even just showing the potential, like you said, by bringing up the Google keyword tool and showing, the search numbers and what's actually there.
Yeah, let's do that for a second. So I'm going to pull up the Google keyword tool, and this is going to be replaced at some point with presumably a better tool. But don't worry about it; it'll basically work the same way.
So by the time you're watching this video, it may not be there. You may have to log into Google AdWords and then use their keyword planner. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, it just won't matter at all. Okay, so if I search for Olivia Wilde here, which is kind of a funny search phrase. This is the name of the actress. She was in Tron Legacy, and she's been in, I don't know, she's a model and an actress. You see she gets 550,000 exact match searches per month, over 1 million broad match searches. And I actually think that we have a site on page 1 for this. Wow. This is a great example of a kind of site that I would definitely use to try to, it looks like we're number 5, 1, then the news, 2, 3. No, we're number 4 with oliviawilde.org, and so this is a site. It's a great looking site, and gets a lot of traffic. Okay, let me exit out of that. So, but showing people stuff like that, like Mark's saying, and you can do it in videos just like we're doing right now. You can use Camtasia to show them the kind of keyword searches that we're getting. So, for example, if we typed in Nashville, I just moved to Nashville SEO, and Nashville web design and Nashville website design. I'm going to get to this. This is actually a specific technique that I'll teach you in just a second, which is actually getting traffic for these kinds of keyword terms.
Okay.
So Nashville SEO gets 480 exact match searches per month, which may not sound like a lot, but to me it's a huge number because these are all businesses. No one's typing this in unless they're a business. And then Nashville web design, same thing, 720 exact match searches per month. And 210 more for almost 1,000 altogether for web design. So always keep web design in mind. Okay, so I'll exit out of the Google. Oops, doing that made things a little bit crazy there. So let me pull up our Finder window here. So this is Carlos is another example. He's in the Dominican Republic. He is in the investment market with his affiliate sites, and he ranks for some Spanish language terms for investments. Okay. And he showed those investment rankings to a lawyer in his area, to a lawyer down the street from him, and he's now making upwards of $4,000 per month from that lawyer. It's really a great thing because he only has one client, but then he only has to take care of one client. It's $4,000 a month, and he's got this lawyer ranked for all of these Spanish language keywords when it comes to legal terms. And he was really excited. He actually showed me one of his paychecks here. Pretty neat. Right.
And the thing is, the local rankings are quite often very, very easy to obtain. We'll get into stuff like that later, but I'm just saying, it's a lot easier to rank for, say, Boise, Idaho dentist than it is to rank for, say, weight loss.
Exactly.
I'm not saying there aren't lots of phrases in the weight loss niche that you can rank for. I'm just saying quite often those local type terms that turn out to be quite lucrative when you've got a client that wants to rank for them, they're quite often easier.
They are. And we're going to, again, the majority of the focus on this event, we will get into some other details, but the vast majority is going to be on client getting because you can make so much money with clients. I'm going to give you an example here. This is Joe Marfolio. And Joe went from being $200,000 in the hole to now making anywhere between $15,000 and $40,000 per month, depending on the month, depending on what's going on. Right now, you asked about pricing earlier. Pricing is something that you have to kind of come along with. When Joe first got started, he would charge like $200 a month. Nowadays, Joe charges a $9,000 setup fee and then $2,000 a month, and he collects that $2,000 a month. And I'll explain a technique about that in a second, but the main way that Joe started acquiring clients is through the Chamber of Commerce. And there's also something called BIB groups as well, or sorry, B&N groups. And the idea is, especially with your local chamber of commerce, is this is sort of like, I would liken it to being like online dating. Like, if I was single and I really wanted to meet somebody, then in my opinion, the best way, you can go out to the bars and stuff like that. And sometimes you will get lucky and it'll work out for sure. But if you want to just talk to people who are interested in dating somebody, then far and away the easiest way to do that is to go onto Match.com or OkCupid or what have you. Christian Single or Christian Mingle, or I don't know what the names of the sites are. But anyways, one of those sites. And the Chamber of Commerce, what happens with them, you do have to pay money to go to these. I think it's very well worth it because you're going to be dealing with other business people there, and you're going to be really differentiated. Even if there's somebody else there who's doing some online marketing for people, they might do a little bit of pay-per-clicks, or they might do a little bit of web design. The funny thing is, like, if you take like a web designer, very oftentimes you can join forces with them. They can be the one doing the web design, and you can be the one doing the paid advertising, the SEO, getting the YouTube videos up, getting the Facebook up for them, and they'll actually refer you clients. So go ahead.
You could do nothing if you wanted to. You could literally be the person that gets the clients, and then partner up with another person who does all the work. In terms of if you're one of my members or you're one of Mike Long's members, you're going to get to meet somebody if you want to in one of our members forums that happens to do SEO, for instance. So you could just say, hey, is somebody keen on giving me a commission if I ever end up farming any SEO work out your way? So you could literally find the clients and give them the SEO.
Yeah, we have a woman making a full-time income doing that. Her name is Rose, and she's somehow like kind of overly intimidated by doing SEO, but she's now set up 6 or 7 deals for other people inside of NHB, and it's extraordinary. I mean, she has a knack for it. She just knows everyone in her hometown, and she's a good talker, and she just has no problem selling it, and then she just doesn't want to fulfill upon it. So really getting this client getting skill down. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and also going at it the other way as well. I know one person that happens to have 100. He claims to anyway. He might be exaggerating. I'm not sure. He claims to have over 180 different people doing the client getting for him. He basically gives them a commission. He says, look, you get 50% cut if you get me any clients. Here's the presentation. He made them a PowerPoint presentation that you give it, so he knows when they turn up to a client, they'll go through that PowerPoint presentation, they'll get the client. He'll give them 50%, and then he has other people that will fulfill the work. So he's got a good little system going, multi-million-dollar a year system. Yeah,
and that's another technique that I want. Yeah, that's another technique. I didn't quite get the chance to set up a folder for it, but I'm really glad you brought it up. And we can actually just pause on the Chamber of Commerce thing right now and just talk about it.
Sorry, I shouldn't have gone off topic.
It's actually quite wonderful. I mean, this is one of the great things. Mark and I are very good friends, so it's very easy for us to kind of riff on things, and we're very much on the same wavelength with things. So let me pull up Adam Dare. I'm going to pull up a new Finder window. Adam does this. Adam's an amazing story. Adam started. He is in Australia, and he basically doesn't have an internet connection at home, or didn't. Now he does. He was just trying to kind of save pennies for the family and so forth.
Yep. And
he joined us, and he landed a deal for $1,000, and he fulfilled the whole thing on his iPhone. So he just and that's how he made his first client. At this point, when he set this up, this was April 15th. He'd made $20,000 at this point, and then I interviewed him, and actually I was just talking to him yesterday. I believe he's now making upwards of $20,000 per month at this point. And one of the main ways he's doing it is exactly what you said. He doesn't have an army of people working for him. He just has one friend who he's taught how to sell these websites for him, to sell websites and videos, to sell SEO. And that one person is just cranking for him and just making sale after sale for him. And to the point where he actually has to kind of manage and balance his time at this point a little more and kind of raise his prices a little bit. So that really is a valid technique that's not pie in the sky at all. All right, great.
Cool.
All right, so let's go back to Chamber of Commerce. This is a surprisingly effective angle, and any sort of a business meetup group, this works really well in. Mark, at the event that you and I were just at, there were a lot, the one in Baltimore, that, and actually the one that you threw in Vegas, I was approached by a number of people there asking me to do SEO for them. And it was kind of funny because you know me, I'm not like out there soliciting business. But you know, several people, Byron, for example, at the last event, you really asked me, you know, hey, could I just pay you a bunch of money to do SEO for me? And I might go ahead and do it. And the reason that I bring this up is that these chamber conferences, the same idea. When we were in Baltimore, a lot of those guys are in the MLM niche. A lot of the guys that there's a strong crossover. Would you agree at the event? Yeah, and a lot of those guys were saying, well, can I use this stuff for MLM? Can I use that to get more people into my downline and so forth? Can I rank for stuff? And so any sort of a business meeting, and it can be marketing events, not necessarily online marketing events. Although weirdly enough, when you get good at SEO, you can even go to an online marketing event, and because that's a lot of the guys who are talking to me in Vegas, they all have thriving internet marketing businesses, but a lot of them are getting their traffic from affiliates, and they want to expand into SEO, and they want to expand more into paid traffic, but especially SEO and videos and so forth. So this is a claim that Joe made, but I find this to be very credible. Joe said, chambers are a great way to pick up some clients. If I lost everything and had to start over, I know I can hit up some chambers and network groups and be making $10,000 a month in less than 90 days. That's quite a claim. But it's also coming from somebody who's constantly signing up new clients at a chamber of commerce and at networking events. And I want to give you some tips from Joe here. Joe's very smart. So one of the things, one of the great situations that I've run into is that my clients at this point are not just grateful in that I get all these earnings reports in and so forth, but they're also very generous with sharing the tweaks and the adjustments that they're making on my teaching, and that really helps me do a much better job of sharing things with you. I've made by far the lion's share of my money in niche businesses, doing consulting, in precious metals, relationship advice, and so forth. It's really only a fraction of the money that I've made teaching internet marketing. Mark, I think you're basically the same, right? You've probably overall made the majority of your money in your niche businesses, or at least at this point, you're probably making more money in your niche businesses. So I consider myself to be more of an underground guy. I think, Mark, you're more of an underground guy the way I think of it. And,
absolutely.
So I don't consider myself to be a professional guru. So one of the great things is we have really a culture where our customers and our top clients are sharing this great stuff with me, and I can pass it on to you, and it's really, really effective. So what Joe does is when he goes to these meetings, he does a particularly good job of really just meeting people, just talking to them about their business and showing an interest in their business. And then if they want to talk more about what he does, then he says, well, great, let's set up a meeting. I've got half an hour, we can meet at Starbucks, next Wednesday, if you'd like to do that. And then one of the things that he does that's very, very smart is he tells them exactly what he's going to do for their business. Now, Joe is a full service provider. So for $9,000 and $9,000 for a setup fee and then $2,000 a month, that's the kind of thing I wouldn't necessarily recommend going for that on your first deal. A lot of times you're going to want to ramp up, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But what Joe does is Joe will give you, he'll do SEO starting for 2 keywords, and video SEO starting for 2 keywords, and he'll create videos for his clients, and then he'll set up their Facebook page, their Twitter page, and their Google Plus account, and a YouTube account. All right, so he's setting up all those things for him, and every single month what he says is you're going to get a report from me, and in that report I'm going to tell you 2 new keywords that we're working on for you and 2 new videos that we've implemented for you. So every single month he's adding 2 new keywords that he's trying to rank them for on Google, and adding 2 new videos. And he's making these videos very inexpensively, on average for about $15 a video, which you can definitely do with you can use sparkle.com, let me just type it in, make sure I'm getting it correctly.
SPARKOL.
Yeah, that's a service. Okay, great. So you have the name down. I just wanted to make sure I got it exactly correct. So he's doing these little line doodle videos with voiceover, and you can hire voiceover from Fiverr.com. And so basically for around $15, you can get a video made. And then if you don't have like a good link getting service like Magic Submitter or something like that, you can just just go to Fiverr.com and just pay for like an SE Nuke blast, which is like $5. They're all over the place. There's tons of vendors on Fiverr doing SE Nuke blasts, and you can do an SE Nuke blast to your video and rank really, really fast for that. We'll get more into that in a second. But anyways, I'm really proud of Joe. I think he actually just had a $40,000 a month. And now, although I want to point out, Joe is actually going reverse. I started off by talking about going from showing your affiliate sites to land clients. Joe is actually starting to do promotions. Actually, Joe started doing some launch jacking for Brad Howard's latest product, Venus Formula, and he's making between $200 and $500 a day doing that. So he's starting to get into affiliate marketing. And that's one of the things I want to point to is that I'm not necessarily saying, hey, just do this, okay? Just do, forget about affiliate marketing, just do local client consulting. Totally the contrary. I don't totally do this. Greg Morrison doesn't totally do this. What we do is we balance. We really cherry pick. We'll take as many clients as we can get that are going to be really terrific and where we're going to have a good time working with them and where we can get high dollars out of it and we can provide them big value. So we'll take as many good clients as we can get for sure. But there's only but so many great clients out there. And so I think that's the smart way of doing things. I really like to cherry pick.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So this is Gary. Gary actually shot this video and he stuck it up on my Facebook wall, which is really cool. And this is him giving the thumbs up. He's actually at a Chamber of Commerce event shooting this video, and he landed. This is June 18th, so just a short while before we're shooting this video here. And he landed a client there as well. So really terrific technique, Chamber of Commerce and networking. Okay, this is a funny one. Do it for yourself. This is how I got started. I started by doing rankings for myself for my own business, for my game store, and then when I started an affiliate website as well. The best example I have of this guy's really gone over the top. He's actually taken it to a much greater level than I ever did. This is Lonnie Welch. Lonnie's from Houston, and he's an AAU basketball coach.
What does do it for yourself? What does that mean?
To give you context on this, when I started my game store,
what does do it for yourself mean? You're saying you're offering clients the ability to do their own SEO.
In this case, what I'm saying is you may have a business yourself right now. You as an individual watching this video. Yeah. When I started in internet marketing, I had my own business. Okay. I had a game store, and so I wanted to SEO for myself. Or you can get a partner who's doing something. I
fully understand that, but I think that's kind of outside the scope of this. What this is, this presentation's about. I think it's more about getting clients and making money from clients. I mean, I understand most people could probably work that out. They could do it for themselves if they want to. But,
All right. So you want to move along? Let's just move along.
Yeah, it'd be great to. Yeah.
Boy, that was a good story you missed out on, though, Lonnie. Let me just say,
I get you. I know he would have done well with it. I just feel like we're going to be covering a lot on this, and we may as well keep it on track.
Okay, so another thing that you can do is focus on face-to-face sales. This basically has to do. One of the things I think is important to do is to always keep in mind that you have a past. That there are people that you've worked with, businesses that you may have worked at. Clients that you used to have. This is Fletch. Fletch was recently, he was a construction worker, and he was actually between jobs when he joined us. But before he did that, he was doing HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning in Scottsdale, in Phoenix and Scottsdale. And when we started showing him this local client getting stuff, he actually just went to the old companies that he used to do. He used to just repair air conditioners and so forth. Heating units, but mostly air conditioners if you're in Phoenix, and he started making quite a bit of money. See, it's fun little. He actually just sent me this over, a little bank deposit. He's actually one of the most successful people that we've had recently. Fletch has been depositing about $20,000 per month pretty consistently for the last several months. Really keep in mind that what you can do again is take those Google keyword results and go to people that you already know, businesses that you've already been a part of, and when you're meeting people in the day-to-day. We just talked about going to focus meetings and chambers of commerces and so forth. But if you're continuously out there, even on stuff like LinkedIn, this is Steve Baumgartner. He picked up a client on LinkedIn for was actually $25,000 a month. He was making some money otherwise. So keep in mind LinkedIn and just people that you're running in day to day. If you let the people know, Steve also got a really nice referral deal that led to a deal with Jacuzzi that got him up to $40,000 a month. So I think that's important.
Okay, so sorry, I'm getting confused here. So I fully understand you wanting to show that there are successful students, which is awesome, but I'm forgetting what it is that you're teaching now. So you're teaching, you're basically saying that people should be going face to face. So I'm judging that by the headline there. Well,
yeah,
I saw all these people are making money, and then I've forgotten what you were teaching.
Okay, no problem at all, Mark. So the idea of face-to-face sales, and I know we're doing internet marketing, and so the idea is that I get to work behind my computer screen, never talk to anybody, and then just paychecks come in. I found as a sales technique, both for doing affiliate marketing and for doing client getting, that if I'm always selling, like when I'm walking around, if I'm always kind of have my antenna out to make deals with people. Like, so for example, when I go to my dentist, he asks me what I do. I say, well, I make websites rank #1. How are your rankings? And then I sell him something, right? Like if he'll go for it, I did. And that actually is a true story. I went in with a toothache and I walked out with a $1,000 a month deal with my dentist. I think it's important because we can kind of get in this feeling where just in our day-to-day lives, we kind of compartmentalize things. The way I figured this out was when I used to teach Magic, the card game that I used to play, Magic the Gathering. I used to, what I'd have to do in order to create training videos is I'd have to go on Magic Online and play in tournaments. And I decided one day just to put up a little ad on my profile saying, hey, I have an ebook for sale, ask me about it. And what I found out was that in a given week, if I sold 1 or 2 ebooks face-to-face to people, like essentially in chat conversations on Magic Online or in a local game store that I might go to or something like that, I found that my sales really exploded. Like I tended to be much more successful with my email promotions and with my pay-per-click ads and with my SEO and so forth, that everything just tended to convert better at times when I was doing face-to-face sales. And I also want to point out that that almost everybody knows at least one person that they can make a deal with, somebody from your past that you might be able to make quite a large-scale deal with. And the reason I was pointing to Fletch was that he did this in the HVAC market, in the heating, air, ventilation, and air conditioning market. He went from he was an unemployed construction worker, and he. What he did was he said, well, wait, I used to work in heating, air conditioning. I used to, repair for these companies. Let me go back to them and say, hey, do you want to get more visitors? And that's how he signed up several clients, to quite a large and successful degree. The same way with Steve. Steve just started using his LinkedIn connections and letting them know that he's, really getting very, very good with in this case, with paid advertising with SEO. And landed quite a number of clients that way. So I think that it's just important to keep in mind that you can make face-to-face sales. Okay, internship. Did that make sense to you, Mark, or did that still get a bit off track?
No, that made sense. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right, internship. Now, sometimes we get into a place where we feel like we just can't get anybody to bite, and that can be a frustrating place because a lot of times people really will say no to you. The internship is an idea that I've used and that Abby and Wayne here used. I really advocate this. The idea is just find somebody and do their site for free. Obviously don't incur a bunch of debt. If you're doing paid advertising, they'd still have to pay for your costs for the paid advertising. But even if you're SEOing a site or putting a video up for them, you're spending 20 or 30 bucks out of your pocket or 50 bucks to get up a site for somebody. And the one thing I would do is I would choose somebody who, A, that you know pretty well, number one, B, that you trust pretty well, and C, somebody who knows other people. Weirdly, family members are actually pretty good for this. So Abby started doing a site for her brother, and Wayne started doing a site for his sister's husband. I actually did this for a local restaurant near me when I was just starting to get back into this stuff. And what happens is just having a successful site that you can point to, and typically what I try to do is try to make a deal with that person where you say, listen, I'll do this amount for free, specify what it is that you will do for them. Like I'll put up a website for you and get it ranked, or I'll put up a video for you and get it ranked, or I'll manage your pay-per-click advertising, or I'll put up a Facebook page for you and start, getting some customers to it with Facebook ads or whatever. And then, limit the amount that you're doing that and insist on a testimonial. And, this has a surprisingly great effect because what it lets you do is when you're talking to a new potential client, first of all, you get referrals this way. That's how Wayne made his first deal, and that's also how Abby made her first deal. Is at that point, Abby's brother and Wayne's sister, in this case, actually Wayne's sister's husband, if you can follow that, in each case, pointed them, introduced them to somebody who then made, in Abby's case, quite a large deal. So doing this internship, it's really important. It's a really great confidence booster to be able to rank somebody for something. And I know it sounds kind of crazy just to give something away for free that takes a lot of focus and energy.
Well, it helps build your portfolio anyway. If you need one, because you don't have to have a portfolio, but if you do have one or two sites in there, it can make you feel a lot better and a lot easy. It can be a lot easier to go ahead and be confident in what you're doing.
It really does. It really does. And so, just to give you an idea, this was actually posted in the NHB Facebook group just a couple days ago. But Abby actually was able to do this to make a $15,000 deal that will amount ultimately to $20,000 a month. And then she showed her earnings here and so forth. We won't get into that. So the internship is great. Now, speaking of a portfolio, if you're weirdly enough, sometimes you almost feel like you can't even land an internship, and at that point. Just put up a site. Just pick something and put up a site for something. Brett did this. Brett, who's in the NHB Facebook group as well, he did this. He put up a roofing site he lives in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He put up a site for roofing, and he used it to sell a local restaurateur. He just said, like, I've got this site. When the restaurateur was like, well, who's the site for? He said, no, I just put it up. I'll sell it to somebody when I'm good and ready to do it. But for now, I'm just building it. And the restaurateur was like, well, I would love to have that for my restaurant. Can you do that for my restaurant? That's how he made his first deal. And then he circled around and he actually sold the roofing site down the road. I call this the model home concept. Typically when you have a new real estate development, what they'll do, for new homes, new townhomes, or new houses, they'll typically set one of those houses aside that's especially for people. It's like especially nicely decorated. Nobody lives there. It's a model home. And what you do is you bring new potential customers to that model home so they can imagine, well, what if you lived in a home that was very similar to this? Or maybe you want to have something different. Maybe you want to have a porch or something like that. Build a model home. It's very similar to doing the internship, except this way, no fuss, no muss. And actually somebody who... interestingly enough, Ronell, Mark, you and I were doing a webinar not too long ago for my customers, and Ronell Stewart came on live. He's from New Jersey. Right. And he gave you a testimonial. He's now very, very successful, but he let me know that he got his start with you. He had learned from you in the first place. He bought a Blueprint a couple of years back, and funnily enough, the way he got his start from there was building a model home. And getting a start that way. So I wanted to point out just two people who have been successful that way.
So just to explain this, I just want to sort of restate what you've just said.
Absolutely.
Just in examples and see if you agree with me. For instance, then, if you want to start selling website services where you are maybe charging $1,000 per website, you might have one or two different layout examples of websites that you can design or can put together. They might simply be WordPress themes that you install. Heck, you could go to templatemonster.com and buy a theme for $45.
Or you can use a filler theme. A filler theme is actually one of my very favorite.
Absolutely.
That's actually one of my very favorite themes. I recommend. Yeah, I recommend that if you don't know what theme to go with, I would definitely go with a filler theme. And I'm not just saying that because Mark's on the line. It's in all of my training. I always tell people it's a terrific theme.
Yeah, and it's great for building client websites, particularly if that client wants a website that is, relatively straightforward. If it's a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, or whatever, it's an ideal theme. But yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is basically you just set up a couple of sample sites. Like you don't even have to have a client that you're doing this site for. You could just basically just do one, set it up, make a pretend, say, doctor's clinic up or something like that, just to use as your model website, and then you're away.
Yeah, exactly. This is, by the way, this is me using a filler theme for P90X or Insanity.org. This ranks, I think, number 2 or number 3, and it's just a great looking theme. This could easily be used for, like you said, like a doctor, dentist, locksmith, what have you. And it's got this great template maker. Really, really like a filler theme. I'll show you another example of a site that I've used to make sales. This is Baton Rouge Architects.net. This has no client whatsoever. It ranks for a ton of keywords, and it's just that I've never gotten around to selling it. Just kind of get busy with other projects and so forth. However, I have used this as a tool. I use this as a tool to sell a personal injury attorney. Also, keep in mind, if you don't feel like making something that's local, then go ahead and build an affiliate website. And again, as we pointed out, you can use an affiliate website like P90X or Insanity.org here, an affiliate style site like you're learning with Jetpack and Blueprint, and you can use that as your model home, which was very similar to the first lesson that I taught.
Absolutely, cool.
Okay, great. All right, so that's
and by the way, you can do that as well when it comes to, let's say you're adding another service like Facebook pages or Twitter, or even all sorts of other things. You can basically you just set up one example of each thing that you offer, and you're away.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, Ronell used this. Ronell got his start showing his affiliate or sites that he learned from Mark how to make an affiliate website, and then it was when he got into my training that I started talking about using this day job killer technique to make a lot more money. And so what he did was he just used the sites that were already making him a bit of money with affiliate marketing, and he started using them to sign up clients like crazy. And so really, really effective. Brett and Ronell both use this, very effective. Okay, let's talk about overcoming objections for a minute, because you're going to wind up in a situation with people, and they're going to say to you, "Okay, but what makes you so special?" Is that true to your experience, Mark? That would probably come up at some point. If you're starting to make a sale, but then a customer might say to you, a potential customer.
Well, I know that. I mean, I've done it before, but I don't do local SEO for clients anymore. I have done it before, but when it comes to niche marketing, selling any product, objections, that's all part of closing the sale. There's always going to be objections, whether it be a sale of a digital product or whether it be acquiring a new client. So yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so what I want to talk about is what a technique that we invented. This is the technique that I used with XM Radio, and I think that it's I've used it throughout. I've always used it. I taught this to my customers. Jay and Gary have both particularly had a lot of success with it. It's what I call the one-man gang argument. What I do when I was at that big meeting with all these suits, right, with all the marketing and all that stuff, and then Hugh pulled me aside and he's like, "Well, these guys say that we can go with some other big SEO firm, and they have hundreds of people working for them, and they have secretaries, and they have outsourcers and all this stuff." And I said, "Well, that's exactly the problem, right? You're going to be paying for secretaries and employees and stuff like that. With me, you're just paying for me. You're paying for a one-man gang. I run lean and mean, and you've seen my results because I was able to show them my results. The things that we're showing you. So you're getting this the same or a better result with me, but you're not paying for a lot of waste." We found that this is the single most powerful argument that an entrepreneur. And in fact, the bigger the business, the more likely this is to work. It's almost the exact opposite that you'd get. Mark, we talked in the past about, in your very, very early beginnings, you had that website that you had and that you sold it, and you wound up in a whole legal battle to try to get it back, and it really caused a snafu for you. And with the law, the more lawyers and stuff like that you have, weirdly, the better, unfortunately, right? So it actually makes it. This argument wouldn't really work in a legal battle, but when it comes to internet marketing, being lean and mean, being a one-man gang is much more important. So I'll give you an example here. This is, pardon me. This is Gary, And Gary wound up in a situation that he was doing a small deal, and he found that the business he was working with had deeper pockets than he originally thought, and it wound up being like quite a large business. Gary's in Australia, and at the end of the day, he wound up in a meeting where he was pitted against the two of the biggest SEO firms in all of Australia. So it was him at one. It was all one big group meeting. It was just him at one desk, and then one team at another desk, and then a third team at another desk. Okay, and then the decision maker, the CEO, who's going to decide which do I go with Gary, or do I go with team number one, or do I go with team number two? And what Gary said is, listen, what you want is a one-man gang. You want me, because you see what you're paying for. You're paying for that guy's assistant, and you're paying for that secretary, like all this stuff. With me, you're just paying for me. And this is an argument, Steve, who I showed earlier. It's a very, very powerful, it's a very persuasive argument. Jay has used this as well. This is Jay Neal. I have more examples of this, but these are just guys that have made particularly large deals, or particularly large number of deals. Jay actually has 10 smaller clients, but it adds up to about $4,000 a month. And he makes this a part of his pitch every single time. I think it's the number one best thing you can do. Like, really, number one, showing them that you have some confidence. We've talked about this a lot with model homes. Also, I do think that it matters to have a great looking website. But again, you can accomplish that with, like Mark is saying, with various themes. I'll show you some examples here really quickly. So if I search for, Seattle real estate agents. Okay, so this is my website. And I didn't custom build this website, Mark. I mean, it's a theme, right? This is Thesis 2, and it's got something called the Grind sub-theme, or a Grind child theme. So this is an out-of-the-box, something I paid a few bucks for, and then I just inserted some pictures, and this is a great-looking website. And this website looking so good landed me this client, which I'm about to show you. Actually, it helped me land 2 clients. So if I search for wedding cakes, Charlottesville. These are new kind of listings that they're doing. These new places, they're pretty neat. Okay. So look, same thing, right? Yeah. Same exact thing. But this woman, Jenny, she saw the real estate site, and she's like, I gotta have it. Okay. So that's what sold her. It wasn't even the SEO that sold her. Ultimately, now that she gets phone calls all the time and so forth, she loves that. It makes her really happy. But it was a good looking website that sold her. And somebody else who was interested in this was personal injury. And this is the Grind sub theme. If you want to write that down, it's by I believe ThemeD makes it. So Thesis and Grind. Charlottesville. So once again, let's see. Personal injury attorney, Charlottesville. Just pull up the website here. Oh, personal. All right, here. So this is my site. And again, it's the same thing, just a very small tweak, just the charcoal instead of but it's the same thing. And he just loved the look of this site. So same thing. I'll show you another example of a site, and I'll tell you what the theme is. I think sometimes people really like to know what these themes are. Let's see. Colorado Springs veterinarians. Didn't really exactly spell that right, but Google will get it right for me. Okay, so this number 2 ranked site is mine. This is called Catalyst Dynamic. And it's the Tuscan child theme. And again, this is just a great looking site, and these people love it. Okay, so great. So, and this is the same one that I used for that site that you saw, oliviawild.org. So again, having a great looking website is one way of landing a client. Having some sort of rankings or some advertising that you're effectively doing right now, that's impressive to people. And then this one-man gang argument is impressive to people. Including if you say, like, look, I can do the great looking website, and I can do the rankings, and I can do it all quickly and easily for you, then that's very impressive to people. Okay. All right, this is a pretty fun technique. It's short and sweet. I think it's going to be pretty easy to understand. So if I go to Google and I search for personal injury attorney Nashville, then of course we're going to have the organic listings here, the local listings, and we're going to have the pay-per-click listings. We've actually found that the very best people to go to are the pay-per-click listings. So if you actually contact people that are already spending money on pay-per-click listings and they're not number one right here, then that's really persuasive. You know, if you can say like, listen,
to go for as clients, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I thought you meant
clients.
to provide them pay-per-click marketing services. You mean?
No, yeah. This would be to provide SEO. You can also go to people who are ranking in the SEO and say, hey, do you want pay-per-clicks, or do you want these local listings? You know, this is something else.
Or do you want a Facebook page, or do you want, you know?
Exactly. It turns out that once people are already in a mode of spending money, they typically just spend more. They're typically the ones that are having success. They have a budget, and you can be competitive with them. We recommend that you go for 40% of the pay-per-click cost of a website. So if you were to say, listen, you're probably paying $200 a day, then I would go for 40% of that. I would go for $80 a day. If this dowardlaw.net. Okay, so that's a good guideline. Is 40% of the pay-per-click cost of the website. Now, in terms of, you can also go to people who are just simply, everyone who's not number one in the rankings is fair game. So if you can say to them, hey, I see you're right here, you're underneath the local rankings. jstillman.com. This guy could be a good person to go to as well. So leveraging Google is a great way to go.
Just to reiterate then, for those watching. If you want to obtain clients, another way to obtain clients is to look at the people that are paying to advertise in those positions, and then go ahead and contact them, and possibly offer them a different service, or even the same service but offer to manage it and say, look, if you're managing your own pay-per-click campaign, maybe you might want someone else to do it for you. Or you can offer them SEO services.
Yeah, SEO, exactly. Or video. I mean, one of the things, the funny thing is, even this guy who's personal injury attorney Nashville.net, he might really want you to do a video for him and say, hey, I can get a video ranked number 2 here for you.
Or you may say to them, look, you can make more money out of your pay-per-click if only you were capturing leads. I can do,
absolutely.
Or only you were, following up with people, or only you were happened to have a Facebook page so that you could, leverage viral traffic, with Twitter likes and Facebook likes and all that sort of stuff. Or, I'm sure you'll be able to come up with something that could make their business better.
Again, we can go back to
look at it.
Yeah, and I think it's a good timing for just a moment for us to review all the different ways that we've already talked about, just to put it back on the top of your mind. SEO, YouTube, pay-per-clicks, paid traffic outside of Google Online, apps, web design, Facebook and fan pages, Google Plus and Google authorship, Google Places, Twitter, list building like Mark just said, and marketing consulting and coaching.
You only actually have to provide like one of those services to start with. You can worry about adding more of them later. You can add them one at a time. But
don't get overwhelmed at all. And again, if you're not sure what to start with, I would actually start with these 3: SEO, YouTube, and web design. And if you just absolutely just have to start with just one, start with YouTube.
Doing videos for people. Wow.
Yeah, it's exceptionally easy to rank. Of course, if you just have an aversion to dealing with videos, then in that case, just start with SEO and web design, because those two kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. And of course, with YouTube, just so you know, with YouTube, you're always going to rank your video number 1 on Google, and it's extraordinarily easy to do. We'll show you some examples in a minute. Okay. And I'll talk about exactly how to do that. All right. This one's funny. I can't take any responsibility for this. Another NHBer came up with this. This is Becker, Alex Becker. He lives in Dallas. Yeah. He figured this out. he got into SEO. He found me later on. He found me and Greg later on. He started out working for an SEO firm right as that SEO firm was crashing. So he was working at a local firm that sells SEO. And while he was working there, he found out that they had no idea whatsoever how to rank people. Okay, they literally had no idea. They were it was a total mess. And when he talked to other people working at other firms, he found out that they weren't much better off. So what he did once he got inside of NHB and started working with us is the very first place that he went, and he was like, "I'll tell you what the very best place to go is to other SEO firms." And he actually nowadays, I think he ranks #1 for SEO outsourcing. Let me see if he does still. SEO outsourcing. Yep, you see him right here. Alex Becker. He ranks #1 for SEO outsourcing. So this is a surprisingly good way, almost like the opposite of what you'd think would be a good idea, is going to your competition and say, hey competitor, do you want me to do your rankings for you? But weirdly enough, going to local SEO firms and saying, hey, I can do your SEO for you. I can do your web design for you. I can add videos. Maybe you're not doing videos yet, right? I can do videos for you, and so forth. Right. And for Becker, it's been extremely. He actually had one month where he made $100,000. Mike McKay also quit his day job.
Makes good sense. There'd be a lot of people out there that they do know what they're doing, but they just don't pay attention to their own site. Like they would rather just pay attention to their clients and let someone else, almost like just let someone else take care of their own stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and the funny thing is what Becker winds up doing is he winds up doing SEO for the entire, he has 3 SEO firms and he's doing all of their SEO for them, their websites and all of their clients' websites for them. And so it's a really great technique. Mike McKay here also quit his day job doing this. It's surprisingly, now this technique relies on basically you being involved with Mark Lang and his team, and with maybe with me and my team as well, because you really have to be kind of better than everybody else to make this technique work. But it's surprisingly easy. It turns out with a lot of the recent updates in Google, Google pay-per-click is always updating, and Google search engines are always updating, and so often these companies are not able to keep up with those updates, and so those updates really turn to your advantage.
It's not just Google rankings as well. I mean, sometimes you might find a client that's ranking well on Google, but maybe they could get another 30% more traffic from Bing and Yahoo or something like that.
Oh, absolutely, exactly. Bing or Yahoo, or they could. One of the things that you can do for them is you can just get more rankings for them. I was talking about the
more search terms.
Yeah, exactly. So like for wedding cakes, Charlottesville.
That should be easy. If someone's already ranking for one phrase, you'd think that they'd be able to rank for a few more that are very similar.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. So if we look on this web page here, okay, this wedding cake Charlottesville. I know I'm signed into Google, but it doesn't particularly matter enough. So right here, this Paradox Pastry, this right here is my client site, which wasn't there before. Okay, they're #1 right here, and they're #3 right here because this is a video I put up for them. Okay. So now they're, who do you think is going to get picked? They're #1, #3, and right here, right in the middle, with 4 great reviews, 4.8. Basically one more review will probably put them over the top, over Martha's Creations over here. Cool. And so that's really great for them. And then if the local listings, the local listings are displaying right up here. So there you go. So really keep that in mind that you can also take a tactic of search engine domination. You can say, look, you've already got a website ranked. You're a very savvy person. I already see you're ranked #3. How would you also like to rank #1 and #4? How would you like to be all over the first page? Or how would you like to acquire many other keywords like, best wedding cakes, Charlottesville? Might be something that people search for. So you still rank #1 right here, #1 right here, and so on. Okay. It could be wedding cakes, Charlottesville, VA. Right, still ranked #1, and then right here as well. All right, so adding more keywords is always something that we can do. And again, like Mark pointed out, if they're ranked #1 in the in the organics, maybe they want to add pay-per-clicks. Maybe they don't know how to do pay-per-clicks. And you say, well, I can do pay-per-clicks for you. Maybe they don't have a Facebook page. They didn't have Paradox didn't have a Facebook page when I started with them. So we go to facebook.com/Paradox Pastry. I I did one for them, and oh shoot, paste.
There's so many things you can do. I mean, you could set up LinkedIn accounts for somebody, for a firm that maybe not wanting to advertise there, but they might want to have a LinkedIn profile so that they can network and find good employees, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just so many services. But it all starts with offering one or two and making it work for you.
Yeah, and weirdly, I can't find their page very, very, very quickly. Not that it particularly matters, but let me see if I can find that.
Cool. And for those that might be wondering at this point, you know, how do you get on and do pricing and stuff like that? We're going to cover that later.
You want to get into some of
we'll cover that later in this webinar. We're just going to. We've got a few more client acquisition strategies to cover, and then we'll get on to a few other things.
Okay, I love this strategy. This is very similar to what you saw Becker doing with SEO outsourcing. What you can do is rank for your city SEO. So, for example, my partner Greg, if we search Delaware SEO, then this #1 site right here, and oh wow, we're #1, #2, and #3.
Right.
And then this is our client right here. So this is a funny thing. This is a client that bought this, you know, like rents the site from us. Is Chris right here? So now for Chris winds up being #1, #2, #3, and #5.
Wow.
So that's what we call search engine domination.
Yeah.
And speaking of lead capture, Mark, this is a great way of capturing leads. And this is just a lead. Like you wouldn't think you'd be able to do this with a site, but we do. We get away with it. It's just pure lead capture. Either phone, you know, either they call on the phone, or else we get lead capture this way. And right now we're working on. We just started since I just moved to Nashville. We just started a few days ago. I have no idea where we are in the rankings for this. I don't think we're on page 1 yet. Yeah, I don't see us. Are we on page 2?
The thing is though, when you're trying to get a ranking for a client. As long as you set expectations correctly, they're not going to expect to be on page 1 in 2 weeks or in a week. Maybe they'll get there. That can happen, and I've seen it happen before. But the key is that you're able to give them a report and show them movements. Like step 1, are they indexed in Google? Step 2, you know, are they on page 10? And then the next time you give them an update, maybe they're on page 7. Like they've just got to see that things are moving towards where they want to be.
And like what we were talking with Joe Marfolio, like we've added 2 more videos for you. We've added 2 more keywords that we're tracking for you, and so on. So right now we're working on NashvilleSEO.org. It looks like we're number 14 or 15, and eventually we'll be #1 for that. Now I'll keep that website. I won't rent that out because I'll look to use it. Because here's my point: is if I type in, let me see, Gold Coast SEO.
Yep.
Then these people right here, Trish and Andrew, these people are in. And I think if I was logged into Google AU, I think that they
I love visiting the Gold Coast. Great place.
Yeah, exactly. So here they are.
Yep.
They get tons of clients from this website. So this is a great strategy because one of the reasons I love this for like Gold Coast SEO, and there's 2 other people who I have that are good examples for this. And that I'll tell you what, that Delaware SEO site sold really, really fast. The thing that I really like about ranking for SEO your city, so let's say you live in Christchurch or something like that, so SEOChristchurch.org or SEOExpertChristchurch.org or something like that. Yeah. It's both good for acquiring clients and it's particularly persuasive for conversion. So if you say, listen, I'm #1 because Google says I'm #1, then that's particularly persuasive, if that makes sense. Jason Boyd does this. He lives in Melbourne, and he ranks highly for Melbourne SEO. He's making tens of thousands of dollars a month. David Hood does this. He doesn't like to say what city he's in, but he's in a top 10 American city, and he's ranked #1 for SEO expert in that city. So do you mean, let's say he was in Baltimore, then he might rank for SEO expert Baltimore? That's exactly right, and that's a great thing to rank for. You can do SEO expert, SEO company, SEO firm, and also.
So you may not rank for SEO Baltimore, but you might rank for SEO firm in Baltimore.
Yeah, and that's very persuasive to people. Like, both first of all, you'll flat out get plenty of clients that way. #1. But even more importantly, if I had to choose between the clients that I got that way or just being able to use it as a model home, as an example of my expertise. Obviously, if you're outranking the other SEO experts and you're on page 1, that's very impressive. Okay, great. All right, this is one of my favorite techniques, starving crowd video. I can't take Ryan McKinney came up with this. He's in our NHB coaching program.
We'll talk about NHB or I should say Endgame. We'll talk about that at the end of the webinar.
Great.
Of this presentation, just for those of you that are sort of wondering what's all that about. I mean, you don't have to join that. This is a purely content-based webinar, but we will let you know about it for those of you that do want to learn more from Mike.
And let me explain, and I'll explain this entire technique. You don't have to get anything from us to be able to use this. This is one of the most powerful client-getting techniques. And like I said, our clients are both grateful, but they're also generous. And when Ryan shared this with our customers, they went crazy. I mean, we just started having earnings reports rolling in like nuts. So here's what you do. I'll show you on Google. So if I type in, let's see, boiler repair Philadelphia, it's right here. Then this video that's ranked number 1 is our video. And we use a service called callfire.com. And that gives us an 800 number. It's very cheap. It's just a couple of bucks. And it lets you redirect that 800 number wherever you want. So you can see it's uploaded by Greg Morrison. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to direct the phone call to, for example, various boiler repair. And I really need to explain this. This is incredibly cheap, incredibly fast to work, and incredibly effective. Like this ranking for videos. These people will just look at this. They see the phone number. They see that you got a video. They'll pick up the phone and they call because they have an emergency. This works especially well in blue collar markets. So this doesn't work quite as effectively for, say, dentists and lawyers and so forth. But if it's for something like a boiler room repair where it takes, a big guy goes in there with his big wrench and stuff like that and fixes things up, boiler repair, bail bondsman, it's good for tree removal and so forth. Markets like that where, it can be like repair, handyman services, plumbers is a good one for this. So the idea is what you do is you direct that phone call to somebody. So in this case, let's say we direct this to, and we have a client for this. You direct this to somebody, to Joe's boiler repair, right? So let's say Joseph Galino's plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, right? So you direct a phone number. Callfire notifies you when a call goes through. As soon as that call goes through, you give it a couple minutes, let the call end, and call Joseph, okay? And then you say, hey, that person who just called you from 555-1212, I sent that person to you. If you go to Google right now, you'll see on the number 1 ranked thing. Right now, that phone number is directing to you. Would you like more leads like this? Okay? This is incredibly effective at getting your foot in the door. You can do 2 things with this. One is that you can sell per phone call. The other is, and what I really recommend that you do with this, it's much more powerful, is use it to get your foot in the door and sell them a website that you're going to be able to charge a lot more money for. So sell them an entire SEO and an entire marketing package. We can do your Facebook, we can do your Twitter, we can do all that stuff for you. These videos can rank in hours, even in minutes sometimes. And what I want to do is I want to take you inside how this works. So let's click in on this video, and I want to show you exactly how we set this up.
Cool.
We made this video on Fiverr for $5. So we just outsourced on Fiverr for $5 to make the video. So we made a job on Fiverr. We told the person what we wanted, and they made it for us for $5. Then for $5 more, we got voiceover from somebody else to do the voice
on Fiverr as well, right?
On Fiverr as well. Then we did a third job on Fiverr, which is paying for an SE Nuke Blast, which is just a link getting service. Weirdly, now I would never use SE Nuke currently in the current day and age. I mean, never's a long time. I personally wouldn't use it to send to a website, to one of my money websites right now. I wouldn't do that. But for YouTube videos, anything goes. Google is so nepotistic about ranking YouTube videos. Google owns YouTube, and they so badly want videos that are set up the way I'm going to show you right now, that any kind of links to them at all are
it's an authority site. that kind of thing works with Kindle books as well, you know, or, you know, if you put a book up on Amazon and you want to get it ranking. I mean, like, it works if you've got an authority site that's got enough links built to it that some rubbishy links aren't going to hurt it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It just shows that page has life. So, okay. So let me show you how we set this up. Very, very simple. Very short article right here. Phone number at the top and at the bottom. We've got the keywords that we're going for: emergency boiler repair in Philadelphia, PA. Okay, and we got a couple comments in, and then let me just show you one trick. So if I go to my YouTube channel here, click in on one of my videos. There's one key to this, which is in the advanced settings. Video manager. Okay, I'll just click it on this video with mystery. This is more for local stuff. This wouldn't work as well for. Obviously, I wouldn't use this for. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So let me go to edit. And let's go to the advanced settings. Here we go. Advanced settings right here. Mm-hmm. And the one key is to, right here, locate the video. So if you give the video that location, like Philadelphia for the Plumbers Philadelphia, that sends a powerful signal to Google to rank this for that location. Okay, now again, this is a bit of a silly example because this is mystery, talking about me and him and opting in. So, but if this was a video instead about emergency tree removal in Los Angeles, California, then I would put, video location could be 90210 or whatever. And you'd actually type in the Google location. Does that make sense, Mark?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's an important technique. I love this technique, the starving crowd technique. I have so many examples of people that made money very, very quickly. And the main thing to do is to use it to get your foot in the door. With this, Ryan, he used this right here for emergency auto repair, Charlotte. And these are examples. He primarily does it on a pay-per-call basis because that's just what he likes to do. So he's getting like $50 for a phone call, $750 in profit. That's right there. Just showing you just proof of concept. Michael Nash used this to get to sign up a $10,000 SEO contract. So that was really cool. The client was just so impressed that he could get such fast results. The most over-the-top example is what Greg did. Greg took this to an existing client that he has. It's a large client in the health, local health industry, but like state after state and so forth. He now has a $900,000 deal with them to do these kinds of videos. So just proof of concept there. He's making hundreds and hundreds of videos for them. $900,000 on a contract. Jeez. Yeah, and I'm just showing the potential of it, right? Yeah. I'm not saying that every single person, but it goes to show that this stuff really scales up.
You build it up, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, let's see. Adam, I talked about earlier. Actually, that brings me to another point about trading up. Very often, you can get your foot in the door with one person and get more and more and more business with them if you take better and better care. We talked about Adam Dare earlier, who's the guy who made his first deal from his cell phone. With him, he was using his buddy to land clients, and what he wound up doing was getting one client that he was particularly able to get more and more and more of their marketing budget, and now he's been able to quit his day job. We had another guy, Steve Baumgartner, who I mentioned earlier, who got in with Jacuzzi. He started with just a few $1,000 deal with them, and now he's all the way up to $10,000 a month. So you can really scale up. Again, Greg is a really great example of this. This is $1 million worth of earnings of his. A lot of this is just with 2 or 3 different big clients. So you can really, by taking great care of a client and just doing more and more for them, adding more services like adding video, adding Facebook, adding Twitter, doing more websites for them, expanding their area that they go for, expanding their keywords. Just keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a bunch of different clients. It can just be a few clients that you do very, very well with. And the last thing, anyways, we actually covered this during things. You can just make a marketing video like I showed you with the Google Keyword Tool. I just got this in a couple of days ago from Eric, who's in the south of Australia. and he just makes up videos for people, like makes up little custom videos. David Hood actually does this as well for people. He uses the Google keyword tool and sends them a marketing analysis of their business and shows them how much more traffic they could be getting with Camtasia videos. So, I hope
just to cover that again.
Okay, sorry about that.
Just because I wasn't sure if the intonation was on the right word there, just so people definitely got that.
Yeah.
So he basically picks somebody that he thinks would make a good client, records a really quick video that shows them a few opportunities for ways that he could improve their business.
That's right.
And then basically invites them to get chatting about it, so that they can do the deal. Or even in this email, he seems to have. Oh no, this is an email to you, but
this is actually a Facebook post in the NHB Facebook group.
Gotcha.
This was actually. Do you remember when we were shopping for toys at Toys R Us?
Yep.
This was the guy who I told you about, who's from Australia, that I mentioned that he just got a $1,000 a month deal. And we were talking about how that really grows and grows. He's since added 2 more $1,000 a month clients, so he now has $3,000 a month.
Yep.
And what he's saying here is that he's a pretty shy person around people. And so it was a little bit difficult for him to get started. So what he did was he started making videos and just sending them to people, where he'd make a simple Camtasia video. You can go to techsmith.com and get a 30-day free trial to Camtasia. And he would just go through potential keywords for them. And it was just an impressive presentation. Again, that's how I got the whole thing started with Hugh Pinero. I mean, you could even see.
Oh yeah, even cheaper. You could get Snagit, which is by Camtasia, and I think that's only like $60. So it's pretty cheap to be able to record a video. If you want to.
That's a great point. Yeah, and you can see. I mean, even Hugh Pinero, like the first thing that he says. Thank you for taking the time to create this fascinating email that I listened to intently. The reason he's saying he listened to it is because the email had a video in it, a link to a video. And he says, I can see why you're effective at running seminars. I was even amazed in the manner in which you presented the information to me with a combination of audio and video and various web pages. So this is a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. He has satellites in space, and he was blown away by a quick Camtasia video.
Some people would be blown away by this video we were recording right now, simply using Google Hangouts.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just saying. I mean, I'm not saying this would necessarily be something you'd do for a client, but I'm just saying, it's amazing the stuff you can do that are relatively simple.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Mark. Let me see if I can bounce over.
The thing is, too, when you record a video pitching an idea to a client, if you're doing it in PowerPoint or something, you can save those slides and use, reword them a little and pitch a similar type idea to another client in another industry. So those, anything that works for you slides-wise, you just keep them as swipes for future. So,
yeah, exactly.
They're really usable.
Exactly. Yep. Let me just see if I can pop back to the being me. Yep. All right. Great. Okay. So that was a number of ways to get clients. We also talked about some things that have to do with pricing and so forth. But Mark, you said you wanted to get into some contracts and clients.
I'll just mention another quick way that comes to mind also for getting clients. This won't be for all of you, that's for sure. But for those of you that are into running automated webinars, you could always have a little automated webinar on your website, which just runs every day, which basically teaches people. Maybe it could be pitched as something like how to drive more visitors to your company website or something like that, and it could pitch them maybe 3, 4, 5 different things that they could do, and then at the end of that video, it could offer your services. Or it could be done in a video, not a webinar. Depends how you want to do it. Or it could be done in just a free report. Heck, they download that free report automatically. They learn a few things, and you're automatically seen as the expert. And then they want to contact you because you're the guy whose report they just read. Anyway, so I just thought of those off the top of my head as well.
Those are all effective.
So, but when it comes to pricing, do you have anything in particular that you recommend as a strategy for that?
I do. All right. So I think the most important thing to remember in pricing is if we go back to those folders that I made up for everybody, one of the very first things I talked about was internships. Don't be afraid to start free. So much of Mark, you and I were talking about when you originally published, one of your first internet marketing products, was Traffic Travis, and it was a huge breakthrough for you when you turned that into a free service. Now, I know it's a bit of a stretch comparing it to doing a free website for somebody, but funnily enough, if you make a small action, if you do something small for somebody, very often that person can turn into a customer.
Absolutely. I had a client once years ago. I mean, I don't even know if I ever needed to have clients, but I wanted to give it a go and just see what it was all about. Who had a photography business doing wedding photos, and I thought, you know what, I'll build a website for you. In fact, I'll do it for free, and because I looked at his site and I just thought, you could do a heck of a lot better than that. It was awful. It was like a one-page website with like 3 example photos. And I thought, oh man, you could do so much better. You could have galleries. In fact, you could have it so that every single time somebody has their wedding photos taken, you could automatically charge it as an extra service to them to put them up on the internet. I could set it up so that it's really easy to add photos to your website. I mean, like, nowadays, back then there wasn't, but nowadays there's WordPress themes that'll do that to make it really easy. If you want to do that for, say, if your clients happen to be wedding photographers, that's really easy. But anyway, I did it for free when I first set the website up. Didn't take that long to set it up, maybe a week. He was really impressed and ended up he ended up spending thousands and thousands of dollars through me over the next couple of years before I ended up deciding that I didn't want to actually do SEO for clients, because I was doing so well from my own digital products that I ended up passing them on to another company that that I recommended. But just as an example, it's doing it for free can turn out to, especially if you're picking somebody that you think is going to want more stuff in the future, it can be great. Or at the very least, it's good because you can use it as in your portfolio.
Yeah, and one of the best things you can do, I mean, you could literally do a free website makeover, because if you have a couple of good-looking themes, like a filler theme, this is Thesis 2 with Grind.
Yep.
This has exactly what Mark is talking about. It's got the little gallery. Took me, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. I did this myself. I didn't outsource it. I just did it myself. It was just, for me, it was faster just to set it up for them than it was to even bother to outsource it to somebody else. Making their website look great, or getting a video up for them, and then saying, hey, you see how quickly I made your website look great. Now that it looks great, don't you want people to see it? Don't you want it to be ranked #1, or get some paid traffic to it, or whatever? And again, that's a persuasive argument. So the first things first, I wouldn't be at all afraid to start with. I wouldn't be at all afraid to start with free. The better you get at this stuff, the more you command. That's the bottom line. I mean, at this point, for somebody to really interest me, I have to think that I can make at least 5 figures per month on a client for me to talk to them at this point. That's just where I am with things. A couple years back.
But it may not start like that,
Exactly,
sure.
Exactly, and it doesn't have to. And this is one of the places where I really want you to keep in mind cherry picking. That first amount of money that gets you to that stable-based position where you can quit your day job, those clients are worth more to you. It's more worth it for you to work harder and to do more for less money. That first amount that you're getting in, that first few clients. So the number I really try to get to for a very beginning deal, I would either go for an internship, or I would go for $1,000 up front, $200 a month for a website and for trying to rank that website. That's a good basis. The next plateau I would try to go for is $2,000 up front and $1,000 a month after that. And this really has to do with you building up your skills, what it is that you have to offer, where you're offering more value. The more value that you offer, the more you're going to feel good about charging people. You get somebody like Joe Marfolio at this point, he's a killer. He's really good now. I mean, he can rank websites like crazy. He can crank out really terrific top-of-the-line videos. He's just great at what he does. And so nowadays he's able to command $9,000 up front, $2,000 a month coming along, and so forth. Becker, who I mentioned to you earlier, where he's doing SEO for SEO service companies, he's able to command huge sums of money, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month.
I've got a friend of mine that makes in revenue I think it's $2.2 million a year
Awesome.
as a local SEO marketing consultant running this kind of business, mostly doing SEO.
Is that Chris Winters?
No, somebody else.
Cool.
Mostly doing SEO for clients. Not even building the websites. I mean, they do build the websites, but that's a small part of their business. And by the way, for those that don't want to do SEO, I also know other people that are making a lot of money just building websites for clients. It just depends what you want to focus on. But in this case, they do SEO for clients, and their rule of thumb is to charge themselves out between 80 and 100. They don't tell the clients this, but they charge out their hours between $80 and $120 an hour. Now, they break that down depending on the staff member and their wages. So some of their less experienced staff will be charged out at, say, $80 an hour. They don't tell that to the client as such. To the client, they just tell them that they have a certain amount of points per month that they can spend on different activities. For instance, it might cost you, if you're spending $1,000 a month through them, then it might cost you, say, 1 or 2 points to have, say, 5 Facebook posts added, or to have a new Facebook page set up altogether, or to have or to get a Twitter account set up, or to get or to have a certain amount of attention paid to your SEO, or for a certain number of keywords. They basically look at it. They know all their tasks. They know how long each task takes, and they work it out so that they're basically saying, we want to be making 4 times what we're paying our staff. That's what they're thinking to themselves. And that's how they backwards analyze how to charge the clients. I'm not saying that's the right way to go. I'm just saying that's another way to think of it if you're really, really not sure and you want another option. I like Mike's approach. I prefer round numbers. I prefer to say, look, I've got 2, 3 or 4 services that I offer. These are them in black and white. Yeah, they can be customized a little bit, but pretty much these are them. $1,000 plus $200 a month is this. $2,000 plus $1,000 per month is this, and then my high-end package is $10,000 plus $4,000 a month, and just leave it at those 3 options, and then you can negotiate.
The nice thing about having that high-level package is, first of all, you will make some sales on it. I really like Joe's number 9,000, because 9,000 sounds like a lot less than 10,000 and then 2,000 a month. But anyways, regardless, the great thing about that is it's going to land you clients who are just like, wow, $1,000 a month doesn't sound like so much anymore. So when you're making a presentation, the first thing to do is to make sure that you're leading with a large number. So even if you have to say something like, there's this is a great large number to start with. This is a sales technique, but it's a good one. Do you know how much money Google makes in pay-per-click advertisements every year? Last year in 2012, they made $43 billion. They made $43 billion. There's so many people making millions of dollars online. Now, my packages start at $1,000 setup fee, then $200 per month. By starting with that billion and then millions and then dropping down to 1,000, it's a little mental trick, but it makes everything more palatable for people. You've
got to also remember that when it comes to getting clients, it's actually how do I say it? Charging a price isn't really the concern. I know this as a business owner. For instance, if I could buy $10,000 a day, and someday I will be able to, but if I could buy $10,000 a day in traffic to my dating sites, as long as I'm making use of that, as long as I'm at least breaking even, I will spend that every day.
Every day. Me too. I do the same thing in a snap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
As a business owner, you will invest in your own business. Let's say you're somebody that owns. Let's say you're a doctor, and because of the money that you're getting paid, both from maybe subsidies from people's insurance, the government, whatever, and from also your hourly, whatever you charge, for each 10-minute client, maybe you're making $4,000 a week, all right? If you're full up. But if you're only half full, you're making $2,000 a week. So to spend $1,000 a month, when you're already making $16,000 a month, to make sure that you make that 16 instead of dropping back to 10, that doesn't seem, in your head as a doctor, you're not going to think that that's a lot of money, as long as you can justify it. So
yeah, it's absolutely true. A dentist on average, for example, in America,
yeah.
on average, the average dental customer is worth $3,000 over the lifetime for that business owner.
Right.
So what is it for them to pay you $1,000 a month? If you get them one client a month, they're making an outrageous killing.
Absolutely, and you've got to be able to, I guess, understand it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Divorce lawyers can be making as much as $25,000 on average per client in some places. $25,000. Plastic surgeons make a lot of money. An architect makes I think it's like something like $1,800 on average per client. So there's a lot of money out there.
And the thing is, these people, it's not like you're saying, okay, they're making $16,000 a month, and you're asking them to take $1,000 out of that, and they're not going to make that $1,000 back. It's more looking at it as they could potentially be making $16,000 a month, but maybe they're making 10 right now, and by spending that $1,000 through you, they're going to get to 13, maybe even up to 18. Okay, that's more how I'm trying to explain this.
And that's one of the reasons why I explained that pay-per-click technique of going in and seeing who's already paying for advertising. It turns out that people who are already paying for advertising are actually much more likely. They're a much more likely candidate than somebody who's not used to paying for advertising. So people like me and Mark, if somebody comes to us and they're credible to us that we could spend a ton of money, for one of our niche products or whatever in advertising, we're going to do it. As long as we've got the time and focus to cover it, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Although it can be quite quick to contact as many people as you want to that are relevant to you if you set up the right email and the template that you just have to reword a little bit, and maybe a couple of videos. You can record custom videos for the right people, but then some people you might just send them to a generic video if you really don't have time to record custom for everybody. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. Also, I just want people to know also that it's quite often when it comes to price, quite often it is easier at the higher prices sometimes to land certain clients. Sometimes they turn out to be the better clients, easiest to work with.
Absolutely.
Do you want to elaborate on that? Because you've probably got more experience than I do in that, but I know it from experience as well. Yeah,
I do want to elaborate on it. This has been one of my stock and trade for years with the business that I've gone into. When I first entered into the internet marketing space, it was 1998, and I was just getting started. I did some eBay and stuff like that, but I didn't really start getting into kind of strategic internet marketing where I was learning about where I was mixing with other internet marketers very much. I was just kind of off on my own little world until about 2003.
Yeah, I was like that.
That's when I started going to exactly. That's when I started going to internet marketing events. I met John Reese and Frank Kern and a lot of these guys that I worked with in the trenches behind the scenes. And back then, it was very typical. Like you and I talked about this when we were driving back from Baltimore. It was very typical back then that the typical price of a product was very low. And you bought that first Traffic Secrets product that we put out back in 2004, and that was like the first $1,000 product that you ever bought.
Well, that was actually I'm pretty sure that was the first product full stock that I'd bought. Oh
wow!
Yeah, no, actually, it was the second product. I had bought one low ticket product before. But yeah, this is one of the first. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you're already a very skilled internet marketer. It's not like that's where you got your start, but it did give you some ideas and so forth. And you said to me at the time, and you said to me at the time when we were driving, you're like, if that product had been rubbish, I don't know if I ever would have bought another product. Well, that was one of the things that we were really doing with that product, and then with some of the other launches that we came out with after that. At the time, before we launched Traffic Secrets, there was no $1,000 products in the internet marketing market space. I mean, there might have been some, but not really big, well-known products where there was a big launch surrounding it and so forth. Most things that you'd see would be, I think Corey's was the most expensive thing, and it was like, what was it, $300 or something like that? Which is a lot less than $1,000. And so, so the thing is, the reason that we did that was, the idea was to have a much deeper relationship with when I say a better customer, I'm not saying that one human being is a better human being than another. I just mean the more focused. Like, obviously, Mark, you were a Top Gun. It spoke to you. You're like, hey, I know a lot of stuff, but maybe these guys know a lot of stuff too. So why don't I get this product and kind of join forces with them and get much better? It's the same basic idea. I think about it. We've talked about some very specific techniques. I'm just going to talk about a meta idea, a strategic idea for a very short period of time here, because this is the idea that led me to coming out with so many high dollar offers over the years in the internet marketing space, in the relationship advice space. We've sold things. The first seminar that I sold in the relationship advice space was for $7,000 per person. And I was told that was impossible. We'd sold it all with a sales letter and so forth. And several people who'd been in the space for a long time said that's impossible. But we did it. We sold it out. And so this is the idea where it comes from. If you think about a traditional swimming pool that has like a diving board on it, then if you look at an aerial view of it, it'll look like just blue. But if you were to look at a cross section of the swimming pool, you'd see that one side of it, the deep end might be 14 feet deep, and then the shallow end's like 2 feet deep or whatever.
Yeah.
And that deep end of the swimming pool, the last few feet of that swimming pool might have as much water as the whole rest of the swimming pool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think about when it comes to my customers. I want to have a deeper relationship with my customers. I want to be able. I don't want to just have a one size fits all service. I don't want to just sell the $1,000 up front, $200 a month, and get as many of those going as possible, because it would take quite a bit of those to have enough income to be able to have a full stop stable base.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that can still work for people, but it may not be you're basically saying it's not the best model. I could see how it could work for people if you've got commission salespeople out doing the sales and you've got staff going ahead or other people to do the work, and then that way you're just in the middle collecting commissions basically from both ends. But it's not ideal in terms of scaling. That's how you would do it, but it's not as easy to scale.
And you might do. Yeah, and even the first thing I would do if I walked into a business and I was consulting for somebody who's doing that was I would say, okay, now how do you have these 20 customers here that are paying $200 a month, or 50 customers paying $200 a month. Let's find the ones that can pay $10,000 a month, because some of them can, right?
Yeah.
Like some of them, can afford $10,000 a month, or even $20,000 or $50,000 a month, because look, you've got the Yellow Pages you're working for here.
Yeah.
The Yellow Pages is not the same as Harriet's Muffins or something like that that's down the street, or Joe's Bagels.
Yeah.
Like the Yellow Pages, they're just a bigger scale business. They can afford to do more. Or a plastic surgeon, you can say, well, look, I can just do much more for you. Let them spend more and do more. And what's going to wind up happening is that better business people. Mark and I have a similar philosophy. We were discussing this in Baltimore just a few days ago when we were hanging out, where we'd rather work with a few really high caliber people and really invest deeply in that relationship when it comes to affiliate marketing or whatever. It just winds up being better.
You'll do a better job too. Like I would rather have one $10,000 a month client than 10 $1,000 a month clients.
Absolutely,
be so much easier to work with.
And you can do a better job for them, and that they become a better testimonial.
And probably to get one $10,000 a month client. Once you get good at getting $1,000 a month clients, I would say that a $10,000 a month client would probably be twice or three times as easy to get as 10 $1,000 a month clients. So all I'm saying is you could have 10 $1,000 a month clients, or you could have three $10,000 a month clients and end up making $30,000 a month. So your conversion rates might go down, but they don't go down by the ratio of the extra amount you're charging.
Yeah, and that's such a great point, Mark. And what's going on there is that the person who I was kind of fortunate to start with Hugh when it came from the client, but although that was after I'd done product launch formula and traffic secrets, that was right before I did StomperNet, so I was already very sophisticated. I was already on that very high level, so it made sense for me to be talking to him. It's one of the reasons why it was appealing for him to talk to me. But the thing about it is that you're typically dealing with a more sophisticated, successful business person at that point. It's going to be more enjoyable because they're more skillful at business. When you're working with someone who's just getting their start, nothing against them, but they're just getting their start, it's harder to work with them. They're not as sophisticated. They're not going to have as reasonable of expectations. Sometimes they're going to run into cash problems where even if they're supposed to pay you $200 a month, it's going to be more difficult for them to do and so forth. I'll tell you one thing. I really, really, really recommend you get your customers on subscription plans on PayPal and so forth. Don't mess around with turning yourself into a bill collector. I'm glad that I thought of that.
Yeah.
Really, really important. You don't want that to happen. If their payments don't come in, what you simply do is, you just let them know, hey, I'll be, you certainly can understand things happen. Please let us know when you can make your payment. If it's going to be a problem, no problem. Several of your competitors have contacted me. It won't be a problem for me to rent it out. No harm, no
but you
foul.
don't have to say anything like that straight up, obviously.
It wouldn't be the first thing I would say for sure.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
But just down the road.
Another thing also is don't underestimate the power of vanity in certain areas. Like you could find people with a website that looks uglier than their competitors, and they may simply want to have the coolest looking website. Literally, some guy that's making thousands of dollars a week as a lawyer, for instance, might just want to have the coolest looking website and might be willing to pay you a couple of $1,000s to make that happen. Same goes for a plastic surgeon or a doctor or whatever it might be.
Yeah, this was one of the things that we were talking about earlier. I'll go back to screen share for a minute, and I'll show you a few more websites. I think that it's surprisingly easy to look 25% better. I know this is going to sound like a little odd for me to say at first, but if you look about 25% better than your competitor, then oftentimes you get like 100% of the results. Like just, if you look just a little bit better, you don't have to like blow people away. So for example, one of the first sites that I put out when I kind of, I don't know, like this is shortly after Stompernet, I came out with this website, area51lifestyle.com, and it just looks cool. It's a cool looking website. It's nothing over the top. It's nothing crazy, but I just paid like a little bit more money and it looks cool. It's a cool looking website. Now this is something that I pay for custom. I want to go through a number of themes that you can use that are all quite good, themes and child themes, and you can just write these down. So if I go and I search for Insanity versus P90X, okay, so this number one site's ours. By the way, this number 3 video is ours as well. It really shows that the videos rank so well. This is once again, this is Thesis 2.0, and instead of the grind theme that I was showing you, the grind child theme or skin that I was showing you earlier, this is called Agility, and you can find it on BYOBwebsite.com, which stands for Build Your Own Business Website.com. I believe is the name of it. Yeah. And so this is again, in my opinion, a great looking theme. So that's a good example. Let's see. Let's go back to talk about this for just 1 second, because you already have this. So this is the one I would start with. So if we go to P90X or insanity.org, and I want to open up the back office of this. So
sure. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good theme. That I don't even think you've made the best use of it. Just looking at the top, noticing all the banner going, that top banner going across several lines.
I totally agree.
So
that's why I wanted to log into the.
Yeah, people can.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to log into the back office. Yeah. So let's have a look here. So if we open up if we open up a fellow theme, and that's something I just did in a few minutes.
No, it's cool. Sorry, you carry on. I'll let you carry on, and then I'll.
No, absolutely. Well, and I just wanted to rave about this because I think it's so great. So for example, like right now I'm using, I believe it's Supermassive is the name of it.
Yeah.
But you've got here, I don't know what the name of this one is. It's not popping up just at the moment. But this is this first one right here. And let me just choose a color that I think is kind of pleasing looking. I like this kind of slate look. So this is an entirely different look here. This is an entirely different look here. If I just kind of zoom in, and you can see the thumbnail a little bit better. If I zoom in on it quite a bit. This is going to give you a lot of versatility. This could be something that you could use for somebody's business, especially an event-based business. You know, there's a lot of like rock and roll bars in Nashville and so forth. I could easily see using that one. You know, this one would be great for like a news magazine or a newsletter, something like that. This one looks like a little bit more affiliate, like an affiliate site. This is Supermassive, the one that that they use a lot in the training videos and stuff like that. I like Supermassive a lot. This one here could be used for something like, you know, a restaurant, something like that, or especially like a restaurant review guide.
Can I show my screen for a sec?
Absolutely.
So if I share my screen, what do I do? I just click full screen.
Yeah, you just go to screen share.
Okay, and now I'll just go to I'll just go to load up Enlightenment just gateway for a moment.
Oh, Enlightenment Gateway.
Just quickly, just for those people that whoops, why is that not loading? I might have spelled it wrong somehow. www.enlight. Right, and obviously I have to shrink that down for a sec. Just to show another example of the, you know, this is that supermassive theme. I'm just trying to fit it into the screen inside the recording. That's why I'm moving it around a little bit so people can see, because I've got my recording window a bit smaller. But you know, that's just another example of this particular supermassive theme. Could be, you know, you click on the article categories and so forth. It could easily be used for a client if you wanted to. Obviously, you can change the header and all the other things.
And don't underestimate with clients how powerful it is that you can quickly use one of these done-for-you themes. Like, you know, when you're using a fill a theme, you can so quickly make a change on the website, and that to them is wizardly. You know, it just seems so amazing to them because they're used to working with people where it takes them forever, weeks to make a change, you know, at least days. And when you can make changes, you know, at the snap of a finger, it's just very, very wizardly seeming for them.
Well, yeah, another place is templatemonster.com that has really good looking sites. They're not necessarily ideal for SEO purposes, but you know, with good link building and so forth, you're still going to be able to get them ranking.
Yeah, it's definitely not the end of the world.
But you can go in here, and I'll just move this recording window over so you can see. You could choose a category. Like, let's say, for instance, I was designing a website for a nightclub. I could just click nightclub right there. Okay, or if I was designing a website for, say, a cafe or a restaurant, I would click on that one there. So let's have a look at the cafe type thing. Okay, now it's going to load up a bunch of templates that are ideal for cafes. I think I've got to click search there. Okay, and you can either buy the templates outright here with an exclusive license, or you don't really need to do that. You can just pay for a single site license about $67, and usually only every single one of these usually only gets bought by about 2 or 3 people. So the chances of 2 people in your local area having the same site is almost...
who even cares? Yeah, that's not
no, but it's almost nothing. The chances. So, you know, what risk, you know...
and if you're worried about it, just look around in your local area.
But you're going to customize it anyway. It's not, you're going to change... Like this site here, if you did this site here and took this one, you're going to change those photos to be photos from that restaurant anyway. So it will look different anyway. You know, or... You know, I could imagine a restaurant, a restaurant or a cafe wanting a site that looks like this, you know, or a site that looks like this one here.
Yeah, these look great.
You see what I mean?
Definitely.
El Patio, what's this? I mean, that's a different kind of design, but some sites might like it. You don't have to show them Template Monster, by the way. They never even have to see Template Monster. You just screenshot some of these.
Exactly. You'd take screenshots of it and show them a portfolio and say, like, you know, in a very short period of time, I can do
make
this for
sites
you.
that look kind of like this. These are some
powerful
sample ideas, and then and there's dozens and dozens. In fact, how many does it say? 14 pages, 555 templates, and that's just restaurants.
It's just for restaurants. That's
awesome.
So
for for designing sites for local businesses and stuff, if you want templates, that's ideal.
And by the way,
they're not all WordPress themes, by the way. Also, if you want it to be a WordPress theme, because some of those are websites without themes, then I think you just got to choose WordPress themes in here. So some of those are actually website templates. But then again, you can pay somebody on Elance to turn any of those into a WordPress theme if you wanted to. Otherwise, if it's not, you just click WordPress themes. So there may be less of them now that I turn it to WordPress themes only.
But there'll still be plenty.
Probably. Let's have a look. Cafe and restaurant WordPress themes. It'll be interesting to see. 31.
Yeah,
31. I mean, that's still a reasonable number, 31.
Yeah, it's a ton.
So, and then the other ones could be turned into a theme probably for a matter of like $100 or something through.
And let me show something on my screen.
Yeah, you take it back over now.
Yeah, I think it's actually very valuable for us to spend a little while talking about like great looking websites, because again, this is such a great strategy. First of all, it's great for affiliate marketing. So you're learning a lot about affiliate marketing by us talking about great looking sites. So if I go to Google, but this is a great way to land clients and keep clients. So if I type in Catalyst, Tuscan, it's not actually a theme, but whatever. All right, so best dynamic skins, Tuscan. I want to show you this as a restaurant theme. This thing is really nuts. Tuscan Catalyst Dynamic. That's kind of weird. It doesn't have quite the same. Let me see if I can find the Tuscan demo. Here we go.
How do I put my face back on in my window?
Everything that we do in.
Oh, you click the show screen again. The same icon. It's basically a toggle.
This one here.
Let me click over and look and see. Yeah, it's the screen share. So click your screen share.
Click that again.
Yeah, exactly. And then a few seconds later, you'll pop back up.
Okay, sure.
Yep, there you are.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. You go back to doing it. Sorry, I was just trying to figure that out.
So this, absolutely. So this is Tuscan, and this is the base setup for Tuscan, which is obviously pretty great for a restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. As you look at this, it's just great.
Totally.
It's got the video right here. Yep. So this is another example, and these guys have a whole range. These dynamic guys have a whole range of different ones that they have. Like I think they have something called, you can type in it's like Johnson Bundle or something like that. Let me just see. Let's see, dynamic.
I'll also want to mention, sometimes you'll get clients that have requests that you think are going to be either a headache to do or are things that are outside of your skill set. All you need to do, let's say, for instance, you've got a client that wants this whizzy thing, let's say you've got a mortgage client that runs a mortgage company, and they want to have a mortgage calculator on the site, and you don't know how to make one. You just go to elance.com, post the exact job that you need done, find out what it's going to cost you, and then basically you put a markup on that, either double or triple whatever it's going to cost you, and that is what you quote the client.
And doing something like that is so powerful. And Mark, maybe one of the things that'd be a good value for people, because you and I did that amazing interview where I was interviewing you, and you talked a lot about outsourcing. If you'd like, I can provide that back for you, because that was just such a great
thing. Okay,
might be
so that'll
that might be
that'll
nice
therefore
bonus.
now be in the that'll be right next to this. You'll see it with this video somewhere near this video in the download folder for this video. It should be near there.
Something very important is always make sure that the websites that you're working on have a responsive design. Responsive simply means that if you put it in your iPhone or Android or iPad, that it still looks good. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to pull up, I'll switch back over to the regular.
Well, that's a good thing to say to pay-per-click clients. You could say, look, you're paying for all this pay-per-click traffic, but you're actually losing out because I noticed that you're not paying for pay-per-click on mobile devices, and that's because you don't have a mobile-friendly webpage.
Devastating. Yeah. There's so many markets with our health sites, Mark. 61%, like that Insanity versus P90X.org. 61% of people coming to that website are coming in off of a mobile device.
Right. So there you go. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'm just typing in. I'm going to pull up and just show what it looks like on my phone. Insanity versus P90X. Okay, So let's see here.
Thanks for sticking around on this, by the way. I know it's gone over time. I appreciate it.
Oh, this is wonderful. So can you see that at all on my phone?
Yep.
You can see it. Okay, great. And I'll switch over to
slightly blurred, but it's
so. This is yeah.
We just hold
it's a little weird with with the lighting. Okay, but you can see it still looks great, right?
Yeah.
So this is a responsive theme. The opt-in is still right there where you want it.
Yeah.
You know, as you scroll down, the video still appears just like you want it. It looks great. Your site has to look great on mobile devices. This is also very important for SEO. More and more, Google's algorithm, if your site looks bad and people are hitting your site on their mobile devices and they're taking right off, then your overall rankings are going to go down, and your mobile rankings are going to go down. Mm-hmm. You don't want that. One of the things that you're able to do is market not just responsive web design, which I put here, but also mobile, phone, SEO, and pay-per-click. Okay, so keep that in mind, just like Mark just said. These 2 points go hand in hand together. I'll highlight both of them, just because they're really two ideas that very important to go together. And by the way, there is very little difference doing SEO for a mobile phone. If you rank normally for something on Google, then typically your mobile rankings will be the same. However, more and more, if your site isn't responsive, if it doesn't look good on people's mobile phones and they're bouncing when they get to your site, if they just hate it and they're leaving right away, then Google can actually not only downgrade your mobile rankings but your entire overall rankings. Right. So keep that in mind. And it's also not as good. You'll have to pay more for pay-per-clicks as well, both because you won't get as much action on your pay-per-clicks, and you oh wait, I was talking about highlighting, and I wasn't even showing my screen, was I? That's a little silly. So yeah, I highlighted responsive website design and mobile phone SEO pay-per-clicks. You can see that, right? Yeah. Okay, great. All righty. Well, we covered a lot of ground here. Mark, I know you're always inquisitive. You always have you very often have more questions. So
well, I've been asking the questions as I've been going, which is cool. What sort of contracts do you get clients to sign? Like, what kind of things are important to put in there? Okay,
this is a great question. Of course, almost all your questions are great questions, or all of them. Okay, the number one thing with contracts is this: that contracts are not important, but there is something that is important. So whether or not you have a contract, Greg has one customer that he's done over $1 million with, and they have no contract.
Cool.
Okay, but what they do have is an extremely clear agreement. Okay, so whether or not something is in a contract or not, I believe is particularly unimportant. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right about that. I'm not a lawyer, but in my business experience, that's not what's important. In my business experience, what's important is that you have an explicit agreement, ideally in emails that can be referred back to, where you say, this is what I'm doing for you. You know, these are my expectations of you. These are your expectations of me. And talk to that person. And if you are going to have a contract, make sure that your plain English understanding of that contract is the same as their plain English understanding of that contract. Clarity is everything. When it comes to deal making, it's just so important. You are going to find sometimes you end up in a particularly good alliance. You know, Mark, when you and I started today, you know, it's very easy. We've never done one of these events as a hangout. No. So we just kind of work together, but we're friends, and you know, we've worked together a lot in business. And even then, we really try to be clear with our agreements going back and forth. We just try to be clear. It's just very important. Yeah. It's not a sign. It's not a sign of respect. Culturally, people can think that it's a sign of respect to be vague. It's not. It's not. It leads to ruin. Really. One of the things I loved, I mentioned that outsourcing video that you and I did. Well, it was a video about a lot of things that you do that you're successful with. But one of the things that you talked about is having a very clear understanding of what your employees and outsourcers are doing. You know, where you're able to track, you know, what you've set them, what tasks you've set them to, and what they're ultimately accomplishing and how they're spending their time. That's very important to you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's important for so many things in life, having clearly defined outcomes for all sorts of situations. Heck, if you were watching a movie and let's say that movie was all about a character and their journey to personal growth, you would get bored halfway through if that character did not have a clearly defined destination that they were hopefully trying to head to, which might be, say, like in Gladiator, where he had to destroy the emperor that killed his family or whatever. I think that's what happened.
I think so.
Yeah, or like in Battlestar Galactica, which was a TV series, they clearly defined.
I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying Battlestar Galactica.
Great,
yeah. It's very clear what's going on.
They're trying to get to Earth.
Yeah,
so
they're trying to get to Earth.
Sometimes things may change along the way. That's fine, but no matter what it is, if it's something you're engaged in, there's. I've probably gone off on the wrong tangent there with movies as the example. I'll give you an example of 10-pin bowling. If you don't have the pins there, then it is a much less interesting a game than if you do have them there. Like, you want to know what you're achieving.
Yeah. Well, playing a game with no rules. Notice how unsatisfying it is. If you think that you're playing, one person thinks you're playing baseball and the other person thinks that you're bowling, you're going to wind up in just a crazy situation, or cricket versus rugby or whatever. I mean, it just makes no sense. So what happens is, in business agreements, you really want to check and check and check. When Greg and I and David first started working together, one of the biggest things that we wanted to do is understand what each of our motivations were in doing it. Because the funny thing was, we knew we wanted to work together, but we didn't know whether we wanted to teach internet marketing together first or focus on going back in the into the relationship advice space. We decided to go ahead and go relationship advice space second, internet marketing training first with OMG. But we really got clear with each other on what we wanted to do. When you and I first met, the very first time, I remember, I was promoting one of your launches. I just told you, I want to kill it for you. That's what I want to do, and that was my focus. And that was great with you, and you helped me do that. Yeah, but you helped me do that, right? Like, you helped me. You knew what I was trying to do. I was right on spot. With my things and so on.
Gotcha.
And when things get screwed up, so when expectations get screwed up, this is the number one thing. I'll explain this from one final standpoint. What causes medical malpractice lawsuits, which are a huge problem in America, is not the quality of care. Okay, you'd think it'd be the quality of care. So if somebody did a good job, they wouldn't get sued. If they did a bad job, they would get sued. That's what you would think would be normal. But it turns out that it's all about expectations. So if a doctor says that he's going to do A and instead he does B, he's going to get sued. That's basically what happens. Right. But if he says he's going to do A and he does A, even if A was a terrible thing to do, he is very unlikely to get sued. Because the customer knew. Like, the customer knew. When people's expectations are violated, they get upset. I'll give you one final example.
So having a simple contract then, or it doesn't have to be signed, but at least, like you said, a simple agreement. Like, you send them an email.
Clear
you send them an
agreement.
email, they send an email back saying, yes, that's what I want. That's as long as it's simple, it's clear. That's ideal.
And it breeds respect. It really breeds respect with clients and customers, showing that you are looking to be clear and not looking to be vague. It breeds respect, and it's going to lead to a much longer. Remember, we talked about this with Joe Marfolio. One of the things that he does is he says, "I'm going to add 2 keywords and 2 videos every month. I'm going to set up your Facebook page. You're going to get 3 Facebook posts per month. You're going to get 3 Twitter, tweets a month or whatever, and 3 Google Plus things a month." And then what he says is, "I'm going to give you a monthly report, and you're going to understand that." This is really, really critical, because what happens is, as the customer gets those monthly reports, they feel like Joe is doing what he said he was going to do. It feels valuable. They feel filled up inside. And it works great. And I want to point out that it's not 5% better that he does that. It's not 10% better. It's 2 sides of the coin. It's win or lose. Like, if you don't do that, if you're vague, even if you're getting your customer great rankings, even if they've got customers, lining up out of the door, if they don't know what you're doing, they are going to feel like you're not valuable, like you're not doing much. They're just going to feel like, whatever you're doing must not be important. It must be easy. Other people must be able to do it. You're not going to seem valuable. Whereas
that's half the problem sometimes with people that do any sort of service for you. If you don't know what's going on, so sorry to interrupt, but I honestly think it's really important that even when you do the work, always send reports back. Even if it's it should just be a habit. You send them that monthly report, brand it with your company logo, whatever. Send them something. Even if it's at the very worst, send them an email, set an alarm in your phone. Once a month you send that email, tell them what you did for them. Even though you think it might be obvious what you've done, you might have already communicated with it. You might have even emailed them, telling them about stuff. It's good that you just break it down once a month, give them the sum total of everything that you did for that, for that monthly payment.
Critical. It's critical. This is also another great lesson for affiliate marketing. This is, at your event, you asked people to talk about their businesses in Vegas. That was a terrific event. By the way you set up that event, and people loved that event. I mean, they loved it. Like, they raved about it. Oh yeah, you're most welcome. It was an awesome event. I learned a lot out of it. And one of the things was you set the expectation very clearly for what was going on. We were going to share split test results. So everyone coming to Mark's event was like a top dog affiliate associated with the relationship advice space. There was a couple exceptions, but that was basically what was going on. And Mark let us know what the hours were going to be and what was going to be going on during the event, which is that generally if we had split test results from our business to share, and different moves that we were making in our business, then take 10, 15, 20 minutes, or in some cases longer, and talk about those things. And it lent a great structure to the event, and everyone knew what to expect. It wasn't confusing. It was enjoyable, and it really led to a wonderful event. And the funny thing is, the speech that I gave, what I was talking about is this same idea when it comes to affiliate marketing. I was talking about how important it is, I believe, if you can, to really future pace your customers and let them know. I mean, this is what makes a pre-launch work. You were talking about your son's birthday. That half of the value of your son's birthday, or most of the value, is the pre-launch, him looking forward to it, and you letting him know, hey, this is what's going to be happening. We're going to be having this party. This is what's going to be going on.
Just a side note for people who don't know what I'm talking about there. Basically, I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, at least at the time of recording this video, and Mike's running an event in April, which is the same month as my son's birthday, and I told him, well, I can probably go to it, but I want to be home in time for the lead up to my son's birthday. And he was like, well, what lead up? Don't you just turn up? And I was like, well, you kind of like to build it up. I said it's like a pre-launch, basically. I mean, even if I'm not there right throughout the whole pre-launch, which will be going on for months beforehand, but even the week before, like, every day I'll be like, 7 days till your birthday, blah blah blah. He's only 3, so when he turns 4, it's going to be a big deal, and it's going to, and one day goes by like that, when it's your birthday. So it's really good to build it up and make it a whole event, the whole week.
And this works critically with affiliate marketing. This absolutely works. Like when we do a pre-launch for a big launch that's coming up. Letting people know what's going to be happening once it's already launched, letting people know after the fact the details about the product and what it's about, and what all these things are extremely important for marketing. And the more orienting that we are, both with our deal making, this is also very important if you're making JV deals or business partnerships. This clarity is just critical. I really saw it. It's funny, even just spending personal time together when Mark and I were hanging out, and Mark was shopping for toys for his sons. He was really thinking like how each of them was going to make them feel. Like if there was or what it was going to be like if their friend stopped by and they had a toy but their friend didn't have a similar toy to play with or something like that. But those details, that's very orienting. It's a very good business habit to have, and it's much more important than a given contract or something like that. And by the way, if you're a kind of person where you love to have a contract, great, but make sure that contract reflects these same values. That it's plain English, because it's that plain English understanding that's so critical. When people are on the same page with each other. It breeds respect. It breeds a long-term relationship, and we want to have that respect. We want to have that long-term relationship so we can go deep, so we can get that high-dollar deal with them down the road.
Yeah. Also, it just popped into my head. I'm not sure why it did, but there was one more service I'd like to add to that list that you were writing down. If you might want to bring that up, that list.
Yep, I'm going to pull that up right now. Screen share.
Okay. So I know we mentioned about making a mobile version of somebody's website. I don't even, I guess that's, we mentioned that, but I forgot to mention that capturing mobile leads, that may be another thing that you may wish to provide. Like, just for instance, a business, they could leave, they could literally be getting people to leave their mobile phone number somewhere. Maybe it'll be through their website. Maybe it'll be through them just writing it down and signing up to their thing, as a little membership to your restaurant or whatever, so you get discounts. And then if you're a local business and you have people's mobile phone numbers, then let's say, for instance, you're a clothing store, and let's say you're a little bit overstocked on men's shirts, so you want to run a special on men's shirts, 50% off this week. You could mail out all of those men and that are on that list. I know, because I'm using the men's shirts example because I receive those texts all the time from a couple of clothing stores I'm signed up with here. It doesn't mean I have to pay a fee to be a member. It just means I'm on their notifications whenever they happen to have discounts and stuff. That sort of thing works for all sorts of things. For restaurants, you might notice, a restaurant owner might notice, heck, on Tuesday nights we never seem to be quite full. So, okay, next Tuesday night we're going to run a special. We'll send out a text message reminder to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, or if they have something like a music act that's coming in, right? Then that's critical. It's critical to be able to let people know about that, and it's an exciting thing, and so I absolutely agree with you. I think that's important.
Cool. Yeah. So that was slightly off the topic what we were talking about there, but it should make sense. And I'll get you to maybe give me this document as well at the end, so I can include it as a PDF to go with this video.
Will do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be great. Cool. Are there any questions that I should have asked but haven't asked, but your students would normally ask?
I try to think of that in advance. I do want to point out, like once again, that it really is critical to land clients, and really the most important client to land is your first client. That's a key thing. Once you make that first client sale, do keep that in mind. I like to emphasize that. Maybe just taking a few moments here to go through, just one last time, just the high level, these folders we talked about, just to kind of review what we went through. So in terms of client getting, which I think is the most important part of what I call day job killing, local client consulting and marketing consulting, the various techniques. Mark, were you going to say something? Okay, great. So the first one is showing your affiliate sites, and that's there's a number of angles that we take on showing sites that currently have some sort of traffic to them, whether it's pay-per-click or SEO or a website or a video or so forth. There's Chamber of Commerce's and networking. Even going to crazily enough, you can even go to an internet marketing event and sign up clients for SEO. As crazy as that may sound, that wouldn't be necessarily my first choice, but weirdly enough, that definitely works. We didn't get into this too much, but if you have your own business, you can certainly do things for yourself. Face-to-face is just the concept of being able to just look around you, think about connections that you already have in your own life and new people that you meet. We really focused on this, and there was a good reason for it. Making your website look great. Having the ability to do some great looking websites. We showed you a number of
without needing design skills of your own, just using great WordPress themes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really, really critical thing that you can do. Internship, I talked about this, is the idea of doing even a free service for somebody just to get a start with things, and then looking for referrals from them based on that, and also using their site as an example. Your portfolio, like Mark was talking about. You can also do that same technique without even having an internship or without even having a deal, using what I call this mobile model home technique. If you just make a site, I showed you a couple examples here that Brent did with just with putting a roofing website for Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he wound up selling a restaurateur. A guy making a restaurant. He was able to make a deal with the guy to build a different site for restaurants, and then he circled around and he wound up selling the model home that he created. Ron L did the same thing, although he used his affiliate website as a model home. Overcoming objections. We talked about the 3 key objections that we're going to deal with. Number 1, can you do something? Can you show them that you have some sort of a positive result? Number 2, can you show them something that looks great? And number 3, that one-man gang is really powerful. If you can tell people, hey, I'm leaner and meaner than the next guy. If you're a law office, you want to tell people, hey, we've got tons and tons of people at your disposal. That's great news if you're a law office. But if you're a marketing firm, the smaller, the leaner, and the meaner you are, that's very appealing to people. We talked about finding clients using, just searching on Google and seeing who's advertising in pay-per-clicks, who's already ranking. Oftentimes people that are already ranking want more, and we talked about that as well. We said that you can do consulting for local SEO firms. We have one guy, Steve, who's doing the Yellow Pages in his area in North Carolina. We talked about Becker, who is doing SEO consulting for several SEO firms and so forth. That's a great way to go. SEO your city. So if you're in Christchurch, SEO expert Christchurch, Christchurch SEO expert, Nashville SEO firm, so forth. These are great things to rank for, both to get leads and to convince people that you're the guy to go with. We talked about the starving crowd video technique, which is ranking a video, and it's a bit of a whole technique, so you'd have to scroll back and see us talking about that. But this is a great way to get your foot in the door using YouTube. Very, very cheap, very powerful. Trading up. We spent a lot of emphasis on making sure that you understood that you can go really deep with some clients, and that's much better than trying to line up a whole bunch of different clients. Going deep with one client so often is the best way to go. And we talked about making videos to approach clients or to close clients, to take somebody where you've already got your foot in the door with them, and it's really convincing if we show them the possibilities, the things that we can do for them, especially focusing on that Google keyword tool and all the rankings that they can get from them. So that's a review of a lot of what we went through, and we've got this document here that we looked at. We just finished up talking about these as well. I think that this has been an extraordinary event, and I hope it's been really valuable.
I really appreciate you taking the time, Mike. Now, for people that want to find out more about you, and because some people I know that are watching all of this and have learned, people could go away and do all this stuff themselves now after watching this video, but some people are also going to be really interested in learning from you, learning how to do SEO, the way you teach it, learning how to, you're learning even more that you've got to share in your members area, or hanging out in your members area with other people that have clients. That's valuable in of itself if this is something that people want to do. And you've got a product which people can see the link at the bottom of the screen here called Endgame. Do you want to just give a quick rundown of what that's about?
Yeah, Endgame is it's primarily about getting free traffic from the search engines, which is something that we really talked about here, both for websites and for video, and then especially having a lot of structure around how to make money both with local client consulting and with affiliate marketing, which we believe are all connected. And we have over 50, 5, 6, 7, and even 8-figure earnings reports from customers that have come to us in just the last few months that have been really successful. They really enjoy it. You get to interact with those people and with me and Greg, and we're very proud of what we have to offer. So check out that link below. Lots and lots of structure. And there's a whole report that'll explain everything. And also, what I've included is additional training videos for you on client getting, and some training videos on actual SEO techniques that you can use and take to the bank right now, and start getting started. And so that's all laid out there for you, and I think that you'll really enjoy it. And
cool.
Welcome you to come in.
And with the link that you'll see on the screen, you'll find out even more details about it if you are interested in it. If you go through there, you'll notice that there's some special bonuses from me if you decide to go through that link, to make your, if you do decide to join, to make it even more worthwhile to you. So as you've seen from Mike, he offers massive value. Some of you guys are just want to go away and try some of the stuff, make some money, and then you might want to join later. That's it's totally up to you. That's the link on the screen if you're interested. That's great. I couldn't recommend Mike and his training any more highly. And it's not just Mike; it's a team of Mike, Greg, and Jason. Was it? And sorry, David.
Mills,
sorry,
yeah.
And David. And for those who are wondering, I haven't met David, but I've chatted with Mike and that before. So anyway, I just want to say a big thank you for being on this webinar, taking the time to deliver all this massive value. I hope everybody out there takes a lot of action with what you've learned here. Literally, it's so you go.
Oh, thank you very much. Of course, coming from you, that's a gigantic compliment, because you're one of the very few people who I talk to and that I learn from as well. And the one thing I want everyone to realize is, even if you don't take action for signing up local clients, there's tons of information from this event that applies to affiliate marketing. Take action. This stuff really works. You're in exactly the right place. Being involved with Mark, it's just crazy. Now you have the opportunity to be involved with me and Greg and David as well. And it's just, you're in the exact right place. If you focus in on what the value that you've got right here and applying what you've got right here, if you zero in on this, you're in exactly the right place. I know several people that have made millions of dollars working with Mark as well, and he's a top guy. And that's why
I've had people approach me saying that they've made over 7 figures a year, and they first started with, with one of my products. And I'm sure you've had the same.
Yeah. And the way I was introduced to you was by somebody who indeed had made. Matt Carter introduced me to you. And Matt, that was exactly what he told me, was that he went to high school with you and just got massive. When he tried to get into internet marketing, he bought somebody's expensive course, got nowhere with it. Started checking out your free training; it was amazing, and started working with you. And now he's a millionaire at this point. And so again, the reason I'm saying this is you're in exactly the right place right here between me and Mark. You don't need to look anywhere else.
I also just wanted to mention that Endgame goes really, really well with the Philo Jetpack. If you're an Philo Jetpack customer of mine, if you happen to be one, and if you happen to want to join Endgame, it goes hand in hand, because you'll learn all about how to drive piles of free traffic to your website. I mean, I teach you guys SEO in my Philo Blueprint course, but Mike has a lot of, I'm not embarrassed to say this, but Mike knows more about SEO than I do. I have got reasonably good success with SEO. Mike has ridiculously amazing success with SEO. So when it comes to SEO as a traffic method, then if that is a method you want to take to the next level, then Mike's the guy. And you'll go through his website and learn how to take it to that to that next level in terms of driving traffic to your affiliate Jetpack pages, if SEO is the vehicle you want to use. Obviously, there are other methods of driving traffic out there. And you learn that stuff from me and from others. But if driving free traffic through search engine rankings is your thing, then make damn sure that you check out Endgame. All right.
Well, thanks
you
very much,
Mike.
All right. Well, I really appreciate it. It's always an honor working with you, Mark. You're a wonderful friend and a wonderful business ally. Really great. I'm so glad for everyone who's gotten to join this event. I think that you hopefully got tons of value just from the time spent with me and Mark. I know we talked about a few kind of casual topics, but we're always trying to relate them back to things that will be of great value to you. I always tell people that I do things 50% for profit, 50% to just enjoy these public earnings reports or the success of my customers in different markets. And so I pray for your success. I want you to see you have tons of success. So thank you very much, Mark. And thank you everyone who spent the time to your valuable time.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Take action with what you learn. See you next time. Bye everybody.
See you next time.
See ya.
Goodbye, guys.